fucking live. Oh, there it is. We're not pretending we're live. Now we actually are live.
That's debatable.
I am alive.
No.
And you could get overplayed on 99X right now.
I'm still super hot. I don't know why.
Well,
that's what your wife
brag,
said.
why don't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you waiting for the compliment here, or are we just
humble brag?
Bitch,
I don't know what's
please.
going on, but I am still smoking hot.
That's because it's 70 in January and you're on fire. That's why.
Scott, you tell him he's super hot. If it comes from me, it'll be kind of weird and awkward.
Okay.
Go on.
Super hot?
Huh? What?
What?
Tell John he's super hot.
And unless I am not mistaken, that's a sexual reference?
No, your backhanded thing about itself, whatever you said. Quiet praise or whatever. Witch said something, nothing.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
You said you were hot.
We've done that.
When have we
We've done that.
Yes.
He
It's
said
good that we've done that 4 minutes.
He said he was hot, and then somebody said something else, and then never mind.
He's dropping it like it's hot. He's Snoop.
You should be hearing the local mix, and I'm not. I don't know what's going on.
What's the
Hey!
Hey!
Are we live? What are we doing?
We're on the international mix.
Which convened this?
In all of our roots. What?
Which convened this meeting?
Oh shit! Is it my fault again?
Let's stick the 7-inch in the computer.
Whoa! Hey.
Okay.
But I don't know when it's going to be that kind of party.
And unless I am not mistaken, that's a sexual reference?
It is indeed.
I mean, it's Prince, so probably.
Probably.
Twice
I
in
really do
20
need
minutes.
27 inches.
That's right. Yes.
So,
because they got rid of those.
2023, everyone.
Is it 2023?
I know you've been here already, but officially, our corner of it.
Our corner of it. Were we counting?
No, you and I especially were not counting, Toughly, because we're from Alabama and they think math is witchcraft.
This is
It's not?
301, right? We don't know.
Yeah, this is 301.
We think it's 301. We don't know.
This is the first Weekend Justice junior level class.
Are we charging for this? Do you need like a larger chair? Because the master class ones, you know how they have the larger chairs?
I thought you were making a statement about the size of my ass, which would have been accurate. Yeah, the masterclass and BBC Maestro. So now they're coming at me from both sides of the fucking Atlantic.
How much is Maestro?
Wow. You're being spit roasted, Widge?
Oh, hey! Well, what is it?
And unless I am not
roasted with
mistaken, that's a
knowledge.
sexual reference?
Yes, that is.
That, Scott,
Also
that needs
print.
to be the package deal motto. You want to get it from both sides? Get spit roasted with knowledge.
You really don't want Alan Moore involved in that, do you?
Honestly, you know what? I don't.
Well, he's got that big snake.
Well, it's a sock puppet, really. So, yes, that is exactly the right
So
sound.
fisting's involved.
Oh, hey. And
there's unfortunately a little bit of Scott in all of us.
And more all the time. So, yeah, no, I did the Alan Moore class by itself, which was excellent. And then they came back and said, oh, hey, we're doing because they didn't have a subscription thing. We're doing a subscription thing. How about we'll offer you, if you just make up the difference between what you've already paid and the subscription thing, which was, I think, like $40, you can get access to everything. And at that point, they had not announced Edgar Wright, but Edgar Wright's picture was on their little mosaic of teachers. So, and they just did Billy Connolly. So I'm looking forward to checking that. Oh, you got it. Good.
I got
That was an easy Christmas gift.
Oh,
And I got yours too today because the mail showed up.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Everyone's getting their
I was in Atlanta, so that we had got all the mail
Well,
in a thing.
gifts will finally get caught up on maybe in mid-February. I don't even know what's
Of
happening
next year.
anymore. Yes, pretty much. We're already in next year. Oh wait, you
No,
mean next year?
next year, yeah.
Got it.
And I think I thanked you for this, but I wanted to show it to everybody else.
Whoa, hey.
Oh, God.
Is it allowed? What is it? It's a lobster.
With the head of Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, I got him a 3D printed rock lobster.
It is in 3D.
Get out!
It is in 3D.
Yep, thought I'd get that out of the way.
Pancakes. Pancakes.
So okay,
Rock lobster.
so it's a 3D rock.
Rocks tread on your line.
lobster.
Where's the rest? Where's the rest? Where's the rest of it?
That's all
So
you get.
we would
Scott.
all like to know.
There's a recession.
Oh my God.
There's a recession,
Where?
Scott.
That is the. Hang on, I gotta make note of this. That's a perfect coda.
Scott, you sounded like the "Where's the beef" lady.
I don't think there's anybody back there.
Although to be fair, so does Fred Schneider at this point.
Eh.
Yeah, you got a
Starting to
good
look
point.
like her. Starting to look like her.
So
Let's see.
no.
Remix edition.
I think John's broke it.
This is the 2 hours of reggae
Aren't we-
mix from Guns N' Roses.
We're all broken in our own special way.
There's nothing moderate about rock.
I can't get it to stop. It won't stop.
Oh my God!
In case you're wondering,
What the hell's going
before we get copyright blocked, we're on Facebook. Oh, now he's doing the Parsons Music thing. If you can figure out what your sample is.
I can't get it to stop. It won't stop.
What is happening? This is an amazing matchup.
Well, Pride
I think
said,
Rob is about to
Pride
hemorrhage.
said he's broken the podcast. I'm not really doing it.
It's not stopping. It's not stopping.
That's amazing.
I can't get it to stop.
We're gonna get a copyright strike.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we're demonetized already.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
So the question is, are we going to get copyright striked for the B-52s or from Marvel for Gem?
Is Gem Marvel now?
Well, Marvel.
We came back and nothing's working.
I mean, Hasbro owns Gem, but Marvel made the show.
Why?
Wow.
That was an amazing live meltdown. I'm glad we got it on a tape.
Now we know what Jules' head sounds like.
Let me just check and make sure we're still streaming.
Is that working? Are we?
One day that song will be in the public domain and we can all use it.
Well, I mean, if Sherlock Holmes had been singing Rock Lobster just now, it probably would have been fine.
That's right. It's
Or a naked
all right,
Winnie the Pooh.
You fans,
Or
kids
actually, you could have Sherlock and a naked Winnie the Pooh singing Rock Lobster, and it's
out there,
probably fine.
it's okay now.
Or you could just play Rock Lobster as an audio track from Metropolis.
You could. Now, is this because it's broken?
Rock Lobster.
Here's Tom with the weather.
Wow.
Although it did sound like you were
God.
announcing a Jeopardy category.
John,
Scott.
your goals are set.
Take Ralph
so
Walker for
high.
200, please.
Looks
thing
like,
was-
looks like it's time for another backdoor pilot of Help Me Rocks.
Whoa, hey.
Oh God. So
Oh, it is the first of the year. It's time for
It
those
is.
goals.
it is.
Ugh.
Wait, we have goals?
So how is everyone's holiday?
I
Is
want
that
to
what-
do
oh,
a
is
shout
that
out.
what
I
we're
want to
calling it now. Okay.
I want to do a shout out to John. John sent me a really great photo of his daughter has a piece of artwork in a museum. Boom.
Oh,
that's cool.
Nice.
That's nice.
Mhm. John, do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, it's her. I don't know if you can hear me because I can't hear myself in my headphones, but whatever.
You don't have to hear yourself.
No, she had a project to do for art school to make these block prints, these big. I think I talked about it before. Basically, they take a twin size bed sheet essentially, but you carve out of a block of wood the size of a design or whatever you're making, a print,
Right.
to that size, and you know basically they do the carving and they work on it. I don't know, most of the year, I guess, and then it gets printed. You know, the steamroller they throw out in the out in the parking lot, I guess, and a steamroller comes. Yeah, and a steamroller rolls over the top of it, creates a print, and hers is now hanging in the Museum of. Is it modern art? MoMA?
Yeah, it's MoCA. The
MoCA,
Museum of
MoCA.
Contemporary.
Contemporary art. That's what it was. Contemporary art in Jacksonville.
Nice.
So
So,
yeah.
Okay.
wait a
So-
minute.
Nice.
So if a steamroller rolled over it, does that mean that she carved the steamroller and then they went in and
No.
inked it up? And
No,
okay.
it was a block of wood. It was like
That'd be really
again,
fucking
they-
cool though.
So,
Hey,
so they use the steamroller as the weight to impress that large piece of wood. John, there's a local printer that they still have the block of wood. Now you told me that the block of wood might be destroyed. Was hers destroyed?
hers. No, yeah, it may have been lost now. She was going to make furniture out of it. But I think it got lost in her move. She had a sudden move she had to do. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, if she wants to see another one, if she goes to Futch Printing, it's over on Shirley off of Blanding. I know. Just re-listen to this and you'll get the direction. So there's Blanding. It's on the west side. They have somebody that works there has done one, and they still have the wood part. So
Yeah, I think
really
cool. The wood part is somewhere. I just don't know
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
where it is.
So the scope of this, it's what, 3 feet at least by 6?
Yeah, I was just going to bring up I was just looking up the stats on their website, and it's 4 by 8 foot, 4 foot by 8 feet.
Wow.
So it's pretty big. It's massive, and she did a great job, and it's a lovely piece. So kudos to her to be in a museum.
Nice.
Hey, nice.
I mean,
Good job.
I'm in a museum, but that's just because I'm so fucking old. So good for her. Holy shit.
Oh wow.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
That's the print. Well, it's a photo of the print, obviously, but
No, it's nice.
goes into
It's
bigger.
nice.
That is so cool.
So
Huh.
there we go.
Yeah.
If I could just find my way back to you guys again. Finding my way back to you guys.
It's all about the goals, kids, in 2023.
More
Is it,
goals.
More goals.
There you go.
More
That's all I
goals,
can- That's all I can tell you.
more penalty shots.
Score!
There weren't any penalty
Yep,
shots.
that's my one sports reference for the year. Done.
Okay.
Done. Congratulations.
Not very often I reference badminton, but you know, You got to do what you got to do. So, Toughly,
Uh,
how is life with a turntable?
well, no, it's fine. It's good. It's good. There has
Doesn't he
been-
need another one?
No, I had one. I didn't have one.
I know, but you need two, right? It's
No.
2 turntables and a microphone.
Microphone, yes. So I guess if you have the DJ Hero one that I still have, then yes, I would have two. But no. No, the backstory on this is, and I think some of you know this. My stepdad died last summer, right before Dragon Con. My stepdad passed, and he had a large record collection, and my mom told me to see if I wanted any of it. And then he had this record player that apparently he had taken out of the box, and with the intention of like digitizing his record collection, and he never did it. He took it out of the box, sat it on a shelf, never used it. And my mom said, well, do you want it? Because he had like multiple record players. He's like, do you want one of these? I'm like, okay. So that's kind of how I ended up with the beginnings of the record thing. And that was like, so we're 3 weeks into this. And so 3 weeks, and let's just say birthday and Christmas gift cards happened. So a lot of this buildup has been basically gift cards and such, and gift cards and Christmas and the birthday things outside the budget. So once we return to budget in about 3 days, it's going to be pretty much over with the accumulation of records. But it's been okay.
Sure.
So Toughly.
I totally believe you.
Huh?
What?
No, I'm just saying I totally believe him when he says that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, records
Sure.
$900 these days. So.
Yes, records are $900.
Well-
Now, I will say, I will back up and go one other thing that I just bought like 3 minutes before I hopped onto this podcast. So apparently, De La Soul has their masters back, and they're releasing 3 Feet High and Rising on vinyl on March 3rd. So I pre-ordered that shit.
The
because
one or the
that's
two?
gonna live with me.
The one or the two?
So the two. I didn't get the colored because I'm not sure about colored vinyl yet. But I liked, but I got
So
I
colored,
got the
vi-
black one.
colored vinyl, while it looks great, will deteriorate the more you play it. So if
That's
you want
what
a record,
people are telling me.
Yeah.
Because I asked about that
So-
the other day because I was going to buy a Bowie thing and I didn't.
what you
So
need though.
so Toughly. So
Yeah.
so are you going to do what your dad didn't do, which is
Digitize the records.
digitize? Yeah.
In my
Especially
case, the stuff I have is I already have digitally. Like most of the stuff I'm getting, I already have digitally. I just
Okay.
want the records.
Oh, well, here's the thing, and this is what I liked about what the early aughts
Yeah.
was you had like mega upload, and you had a proliferation of music blogs,
Yeah.
and a lot of the weird ones, the outsider musicians and stuff were, found by a lot of these, bloggers who then
Yeah.
would find an album, at a garage sale, and then
Yeah.
digitize it. And it was mega upload that allowed what was the Blogspot mostly.
Yeah.
So they'll write an article, and then you can download it, which
Yeah.
was so great because I wound up getting so much. Oh, I don't know, like, a piano trio that I never heard of again. And it's got like this cocktail hour type music and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's an album that may have sold, I don't know, 100 copies or something.
Yeah.
And so to me, that the aughts were really cool in finding like outsider art,
Yeah.
outsider
Well,
music.
You can still find that because they're like, for example, and it's dangerous. What is it? Aquarium Drunkard has a guy who has found all of these. Apparently in Japan, like in the 70s, especially, it was a big thing to like go in and quick and dirty record an album, maybe press 50 copies of it and just be done, just so you could say that you had an album. And he's found a bunch of these ridiculously rare albums, and he's posting like, oh, here's a 45-minute block of just choice tracks from it. And some of the shit is amazing. And I was like, where is this available to buy on digital? And he was just like, check back with me. So,
well, some of that stuff, they had like amusement park things like that, because they used to be able to go in and you could cut something and you could have the choice of it, whether it was on cassette or on vinyl, and you'd take it home.
Yeah.
Tuffley, do you?
Well, it's like there was that documentary about the guy who was the writer for Letterman, who collected the what was it, the institute, not the institute, the corporate music and stuff.
Yeah.
The only one I have is the one for KFC.
Oh.
And it was off of a blog spot.
I remember the guy who had the blog, the Kmart tapes.
I've got that.
Yeah. Rob, what were you going to say?
I was going to ask Tuffley if he played 78s, because I could bring some 78s over.
Not well.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. You said you were done with the accumulation, but Rob is going to foist stuff off on you.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to foist stuff on you.
Well, hold on. I should look through your stuff before Tuffley gets. No.
Actually, you already did.
Ooh.
Oh no, I'm talking about stuff that I just got from my dad. That I'm just like, what am I going to do with this stuff? And when I finally get back to thrift stores, then you can look forward to it's Hula Hour with Guido and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the guy at the warehouse down the street is going, "What the fuck are you doing with these records, man?"
Yeah,
I know.
Next time I come down, I'll bring very carefully a bone record, and you and Widge can all listen to it.
Ooh, hell yes.
But
Rox, you know about those, right?
Your stylus is going to have to be clean.
That's cool.
Well, it's not really.
And unless I am not mistaken, that's a sexual reference.
So cool.
I'm already thinking about the record player upgrade, but
no.
Oh, that's dangerous, isn't it? Okay, so are you going to go with the tubes type of amplifier, or? That's the thing now, man.
Yeah,
those are hard to find.
Did you buy a record? Okay. Have you bought a record?
Wait, tubes, didn't they do She's a Beauty?
Yes, they did. Did you get Did you get the record like brush yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I have between Kim's dad, and a bunch of people after I had I'm kind of getting into records conversation. They're like, okay, I got every damn cleaning kit known to man.
Now, have you been to Fantasyland yet? Okay, that's probably the best place to buy vinyl in Atlanta. Outside of the.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a different kind of store. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh no. There's a store in Atlanta called.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah, exactly. They sell
vinyl.
They still sell the Fisher Price albums and crap like that. I mean, it's
they do in this store I'm thinking of too.
I bet they do. I bet
so. So Tuffley is going to start going. He's going to start haunting the little pop up.
No, I'm going to take Tuffley to the record speakeasy. It's in Atlanta the week of Dragon Con, because there's a bunch of people at Dragon Con that are music heads, and they all meet and swap records.
Oh, okay.
At Dragon Con, yeah. But I probably should. Oh shit, we're live. Well, anyway, yes, folks, there is a Dragon Con record group. Oops. Never mind.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Rocks. The other amazing find were the industrial musicals, like the one about bathrooms, an entire musical about bathrooms. They're great.
What is this thing called Amway? I have that one too.
I have a whole bunch of these like weird instruction records, and I've got one that if I die, Rocks can get it, but it's the like nuclear bomb survival record.
Wait,
with
what?
Send that to.
Is that the one that gets sampled in the
so we
Freaky
can
Goes
get
to
them
Hollywood album,
digital?
or is that something else?
It's the one. It comes with a little folder that tells you how to cover your head.
I know.
But it's
Wait,
a whole record.
You cover your head with the vinyl? That would just melt on your head.
It's got a booklet that tells you what to do.
Is this Protect and Survive?
Yeah, it's kind of like a hey kids, if there's a bomb coming, this is what you do, kind of. Yeah.
Oh, this is like 50.
Why wouldn't you just publish the booklet? Because the vinyl's going to fucking melt. It's not going to be any good to you.
They did anyway.
But nuclear holocaust.
At that particular time, they were trying to get that information out everywhere. It was on records. It was on books. It was in magazines. Yeah,
strips.
Yeah. So.
Yep. The other one was the other acquisition I found off of those blogs was I need to go look for some more. Is original cast recordings of musicals from different countries.
Oh, okay.
Like the Rocky Horror Show from Peru is awesome. There was a Les Mis from I forget. Well, Cats in Polish is pretty fucking cool.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just random.
Yeah.
Again, like the random blogspot site that was like, oh, here's this. And
I think it's time for Tuffley to get a copy of Saharan Cell Phones.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's basically
you know about that, Tuffley.
Yeah, basically this guy just found all these cell phones in the Sahara Desert that had music on them, and he pressed them all on vinyl. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I just have boring album releases.
Oh no, it's not going to be boring now, because now you're a part of the weird shit that Widge and Rob talk about when we talk about records.
Okay.
Like, I don't want records. I have
releases.
Oh yeah. Like, it's gonna be
good.
I believe Rob Zombie has made at least 2 films on that, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I have basically I've allowed myself the on vinyl the soundtracks for the 3 original George Romero zombie films. Yeah. And if they ever reprint, I can't remember if it's Mondo or Waxwork, if they ever reprint the Thing soundtrack, which is like the case, the vinyl box opens up like the guy's chest.
Oh, okay.
With teeth. It's so fucking cool looking. It's so cool.
Did John re-release that though? Did John re-release that himself? Because he's got like a little record label now.
I know he put out like...
Because he put out the Churches remix. He put out the Churches remix.
And he put out his... He put out like a compilation of his stuff.
And then he put out the last the Halloween Ends track.
Yeah, no, I think this is specifically to it's either Mondo or Waxwork, and it's so fucking cool. I will allow myself to own that as well, and that's pretty much it. So every other weird vinyl, I'm just gonna pawn off on you and live vicariously through you.
Because I only bring home shit that's weird at this point, or that I get for free.
Yeah. I've just gotten records I wanted.
Man,
I think I've started with records.
What kind of vinyl hipster are you?
I'm out of space. 2, digital is just much more easier, right?
Yeah.
And
records don't work in my car, man. Also, not with potholes in Atlanta. Sorry.
You could.
Sorry,
I spent 30 years friggin' DJing, carrying records around in big ass crates. My old ass is tired of that shit. So you can do it. I'll pass that on to you. I'm telling you, man, they're like tribbles, though. Watch out.
Yeah, I was like, I need to find storage options, so I have a little thing.
Do you have
but
God, those like crates. Do you have like the weird? They used to have like Peaches Records, and I don't know if you had a Peaches Records down there or not, but they're like the really long old crates they used to use to ship like tomatoes and.
No. So here's what I did. Right now, I have like the little like storage cube thing that the record player sits on, and I have like the little cubes that slide into it. That's what I'm using.
So you could, and I'm not saying hypothetically you would ever do this because you are an honest person, but if you have a local grocery store, in the back sometimes of grocery stores, they put milk crates.
Yeah.
And sometimes milk crates can disappear and be used to put records in.
Device brought to you by neatcoffee.com.
No, that's not the right one.
Hypothetically, not that you would ever do anything like that.
Those are getting hard to find, Rob. They really are. Yes, they are. Yeah.
You do?
Do I? I don't need any. But
okay.
There was a time I needed some, and I'm like, these used to be like you could find them everywhere. Now all of a sudden,
oh, you're not looking.
You know, you try to look for these ones
because I needed. To,
no, I would go to like
to have it look nice.
Like Starbucks or something, because they'll just toss them, and so. But then they started locking up the.
It's mostly area. It's mostly like mom and pop grocery stores run by foreign people from other countries,
and the Amish.
Yeah, well, the Amishes are all made out of like wood, but yes.
And lacquered, and
that's if you want those nice ones. Yeah.
Now, the best thing I went once behind a record store, and I got like 5 of these huge. This is back when I had a
one time behind the record store.
But what's wrong with you, John? You're really sick tonight, man. It's like having.
Whoa! What are you doing tonight?
It's like having Gacy on the podcast. But
you don't know where I've been.
Exactly. So I ended up
Tears of a clown. When there's no one around.
I ended up also getting a life-size cardboard cutout of Lionel Richie.
Okay, and John's weird.
No, I
thank you, Scott.
There's a girl who dumped me, so I ended up putting that.
So you got a Lionel Richie.
I opened up the front door of their house and stood it there, so when her dad would open the door, whoever in the morning, Lionel Richie would be staring at it.
Hello. Is it
I did that with a Santa with my neighbor. So
nice.
It's like, they knew who it was. It's like, it's Roger.
Have I told the Alfred Hitchcock story? So I used to work in a video store. I used to run a video store, and this was right around the time they were releasing the Alfred Hitchcock stuff. And so I got a standee of Alfred Hitchcock, and I used to keep it in the house. I brought it home, kept it in the house, and I guess it was the back door, the light hitting the back door at night created the Hitchcock silhouette, and apparently just scared the crap out of the cats, because the cats would freak out in the middle of the night because they saw the silhouette. No, I don't know what cats know, but I'm just saying.
You know what it was?
And the cat's name? Kevin McAllister.
Kevin McAllister, yes.
But basically, the cats had seen Hitchcock's The Birds and were like, we don't want any part of that shit.
But maybe they do because, cats.
Yeah, but
but the birds are organized, and they're like, how many of us have you put on the doorstep?
I mean, cats are.
After the humans, you're next.
Now, you're right, though. If Alfred Hitchcock had directed the movie version of Cats, then we would have had a friend to talk to.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yep.
Did he ever do a musical? I know he didn't.
No.
But I thought I'd throw that out there.
I don't think
so. He should have.
But that would be great.
The only thing Hitch didn't do, because I guess when he was in the studio system, he might.
There is a musical based on Rebecca.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
Oh no,
it's just based on everything.
Well, I know, but it's supposedly
point,
it's actually good. And it's like being produced in Vienna, and there was like this whole scandal of them trying to get funding, but they got like involved with this con artist and stuff. But they actually reproduce the burning of Mandalay, and they actually have a spiral staircase that shoots. and it's like
So basically, what you're saying is they need to stage a musical of the staging of Rebecca the Musical.
I've actually Kim watches these YouTubes of like
so do we all.
These YouTube documentaries about failed Broadway musicals. And there is one on that when they tried to take it to America. And I remember that one. And how much because there was basically a wire fraud. It involved a wire fraud situation.
Yep, and mysterious investors that died somehow.
Yes.
Yeah,
but the production finally got
was George Santos.
Right. No, unfortunately not.
Sorry,
but
he was trying to make it current.
But they actually did get this thing off the ground, and it's being done in Vienna, where the guy who came up with it.
Yeah, it was successful in Europe.
Yeah,
it was already successful in Europe. They were trying to bring it to America, and that's when. Oh, hello.
Oh,
pretty.
Yes. Pretty. But yeah, right now I'm in the beginning phase of like this, where I'm just buying records I like. And I'm not really like, so I am. There are a couple of things like I don't need all the Beatles records. I'm like, compilation's fine. I bought Past Masters. I'm fine.
So,
but
think of it as Dante's Inferno. You're buying records. You're buying records you like, right? The 7 layers of hell happens when you start getting records that Widge and I and Rox either or think you should have.
Yeah. That's the very specific think you should have.
My wife sends you all nice cards, and the less nice cards as time goes by.
You know, I've spent my entire life on this planet waiting for the right person to give my extra copy of the Ethel Merman disco record to.
Oh, why is that not digitized, Rob?
It is digitized.
So I can have it.
It is digitized. It's on Spotify. It's on
Although I'll tell you,
I mentioned this to you 4 years ago, and you're like, I don't collect records.
Which I seem to recall on a Dragon Con. I think it was you and Ken a copy of Sister Christian.
And I've got the Liberace disco record.
I seem to recall this. I had it and I played it the other day to make sure if it worked. And it does.
Do you want Sweatin' to the Oldies? I'll get you that too. And Hooked on Classics.
Oh wow!
No.
You want a sealed copy of Hooked on Classics?
Somebody tried to give me Hooked on Classics and I turned it down.
Oh, you're getting Hooked on Classics. Wait. I'm predicting you're gonna get Hooked on Classics.
I'm probably gonna get Hooked on Classics. No, because this was the same thing where I went into when I found Kim's copy of Sgt. Pepper's in a closet. And her dad was like, do you want any of this stuff? Because it's fine. If you want it, fine. And Hooked on Classics was one of them. And it's like, I'll just set that one aside.
Oh, it's fun.
Well, you'll be proud of me. I set that aside and I got Streisand's Guilty. So, that's sitting in a crate somewhere. So anyway, I'm kind of just into right now. I've done the I'm getting things I like part. So
here's the question.
Rob has been there so many times.
Here's the question. I can
just see he is acting. Rob is your sage former addict who is just down here.
Why are people paying $50 for a record that they could have bought 30 fucking years ago that plays exactly the same?
Because it wasn't cool then.
And you're also just
Janet needs to come in and say stop. Just stop.
Oh no, that already happened.
No, I'm looking around at shelf space going, I don't have room for this shit.
But here's the question Tuffley has to answer if he's truly going down this path.
What?
Does vinyl sound better than digital?
No. Now, if you can spend
like
$400,000 on like a sweet system or something, yes, that's the first. And two, you got to worry about them scratch. The amount of like terror, because I have an original copy of The Idiot by Iggy Pop on vinyl, and I was DJing at a bar, and somebody got really close to spilling their drink on it. And after that, I'm like, I'm not bringing records to any more DJ gigs ever again.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was like, well, you're just not cool. And I'm like, are you going to get me a new copy of The Idiot by Iggy Pop? Who's Iggy Pop? I'm like, we're done here. And when I mentioned this to Iggy Pop, he thought I was right. So there you go.
Like, you're right, man.
The rest of that album,
right.
man.
Oh, Tuffley.
Right.
It's gonna be like the island of misfit toys. And although I don't want Kim mad, I don't want Kim mad at me for bringing this shit into your home. So maybe
we'll see that.
I'll send some musicals over.
Well, oh my God! You know what?
I already traded away Godspell. So that.
Rox, do you want me to send you a list of what I'm going to send Tuffley first, so you can get the?
I can put together.
Oh my God!
List too.
Send him, Rob. Send him the vinyl of South Pacific.
I have that actually. It's really good.
It is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that. And I also have the Captain Sensible version of Happy Talk from Tuffley. What are your thoughts on 7-inch singles? Did you buy the little annoying wedgie thing?
I bought the wedgie thing, but I don't really care for it. I don't really.
I want to know what Scott's opinion is of 7-inch singles.
I'm going to send you
and the wedgie thing.
I'm going to send you this record called Popular Minstrel Songs of the 30s.
Okay.
That I found in a record bin.
That sounds cool. That sounds deeply racist. But go
ahead. It is horribly racist. It's horribly racist, but it's a piece of American history, so we can't escape from it. We can't escape from it.
I gotta ask Scott something. Scott,
so yes,
your post on Facebook, is that like an ongoing like tarot card?
Okay.
Set?
Okay.
What is that?
Okay.
All right.
Well,
tell us everything.
The whole Hookland thing. Okay.
Yeah.
On Twitter, there's this guy, David Southwell, and he started creating a few years ago on Twitter this imaginary county in England called Hookland, where all sorts of weird supernatural. He's like created this entire world, and he's sort of like, if you want to play in it too, be respectful, yada yada yada. And I started doing like what I call like fan fiction of it. So that's kind of where my stuff comes from. But his stuff is like what?
So you're taking his pictures and then adding text to it?
No. He does like pictures and text.
Okay.
Yeah, the pictures I know it's a little controversial right now, but I use an AI generator for that.
See, I was about to ask you that question because I thought some of that looked. Okay.
But I don't make money off of it, so I think I'm.
Neither do they, Scott. That's the problem.
But it's the ones that use it and then sell it. That's the big thing. I don't. I'm just using it as an exercise to actually write something, which I should do. But I mean, he's come up with some amazing, like, it's very folklore. It's very Wicker Man, Stone Tape. Just like he has like a whole bestiary of various animals.
It's like Goatswood if you're going with like the Ramsey Campbell type.
There's definitely that aspect, but there's also like science fiction elements. Like one thing he has is sort of like his, almost like its own, like how he sees Hookland is, he created this thing where it's like there was this the British Space Research Center had like these huge radio dishes. But it was right next to a stone circle. And then something with a capital S happened in 1973, and the army quarantined the entire thing. And we don't know what happened. But it's kind of that, it's also that mix of like the modern and the ancient sort of commingling. Like I said, like the Stone Tape, Nigel Keane, that sort of thing. It also takes like you have to look through the it's Hookland Guide. He basically takes it up to like he basically takes it up to like the early 80s. And there's also Pavel. There's another one where he has like all these characters, people who are like in it. He has like something called the Children of the Hum, where it was a bunch of like hippie type people who just walked from power pylon to power pylon to power pylon. People thought they were nuts, but it was almost like a religious experience to walk these like electric ley lines. And it's just like all this stuff, and you could just go into a damn rabbit hole just exploring this.
Well, some of the stuff you write are really good, so that's why.
Thank you. Oh no, thank you. That's one of the things I'm kind of like proud of this year is like getting off my ass and writing something, you know. And also, I'm also proud that I also did another musical this year, The Cursed House of Ravensmad. Oh, it was great. It was basically like a send-up of like gothic romance novels, and kind of like, you know, it had some elements of Rebecca, the Bronte sisters, and, you know, had like the poor, you know, it started like Claire Ayres, a poor slight orphan of 36, who and her sickly younger sister pained, and their trials and tribulations. And I was wrathful, like the evil son of Regima Ayres. It was just, I got to sing a little, I got to do some stick, and, you know, I was just, it was a great production. I mean, we had masks, we had costumes, actual costumes, so it was actually made for us. It was just amazing. And you know who saw it? Who actually came down? Joe and Amy.
Whoa, very cool.
Yes. You know what happened? This is how it happened. Before the show, I'm getting ready. I just happen to be talking at Twitter because I'm a total addict. Please help me. Please, Elon, destroy this thing so I can get over my habit.
He's trying his best.
I know.
Yep.
And I happen to have Joe on Notify, and I saw it, and it's like, oh, and he says, me and Amy are going to see some local theater. And I'm like, and I see them, a picture of them next to the clubhouse. And I'm like, what? Because they didn't tell me that they were showing up. So I get a messenger. It's like, are you here? And he's like, yeah, we're in the audience. And I go out, and there are actually some other people in the audience where I scream, you motherfuckers. For just completely just, I was so God. It was amazing. And they loved this show. And it was, you know, it was really nice. And like I said, it was just so fun being evil. It's always fun being evil.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, and the woman who played Regima was just eating. We had this great villain song. She was just eating the role, you know, just, you know.
Oh, I thought
chewing up scenery.
Oh God, but in the best way. But in the best way. She was just. It was amazing. It was a great show. Yeah, that one. And we actually and me, her, and the woman who played our housekeeper ended up on the poster. And I looked demented because for most of it I'm wearing this god awful toupee. Because I know it's ratty as hell, but it's basically because, you know, Wrathful has kind of been infantilized by Regima, so he's still trying to, you know, make her happy. So for a lot of it he's in like short shorts and like high, like and high and like thigh high socks and little jacket, you know, very kind of little Lord Fauntleroy to a bit. But at the end, I end up in like a proper frock coat and everything, and I just take that wig off. The thing is, like, I'm going bald. I'm just going to.
So how many shows did you have?
We had 10. We did 10 shows.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was great. Nice. It was fun. It was a lot of work. It was like we did like, I think 2 to 3 months of rehearsal, because it was like the singing we had to get down, and we had an actual guy who knows like song terms that I've never heard of, so we had to do that and get like the acting down and the movement and get all the like scenery constructed and figure out all the technical stuff. But no, it was a lot of fun. It's always fun when Faust, I mean, the cabarets are great, but it's always fun to do something a little different. Like, I mean, I did Shakespeare with these guys.
Yeah.
So that was, that was great too. So it was really nice. And, you other Atlanta people, if you ever want to come down, hint, there's a hotel right next to the clubhouse, literally. So it's like right there. Just saying. You know.
Well, when the world is ending a little bit less, then we'll.
Oh, I know. No,
we'll see
I
what we
get
can
it.
do.
It's
I
not
know.
Florida, it's the apocalypse.
No, it's Florida.
It's Florida. We're open for business, though.
That's terrific.
It's not just the apocalypse, it's Florida.
Yep.
It is.
What have you guys? But I haven't talked to a lot of you in a while. What have you guys done anything interesting this last year?
This
last year? No.
Since the beginning of the year, I've pretty much done nothing.
Yeah. It's been a long 2023 so far.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! You know what?
I'm a court official now.
I know,
That's
which
what
is
I've been doing.
terrifying.
Frightening. Well, it is
I know
Florida.
it is.
Yeah, it's true.
Again.
I'll tell you though, the attorneys that deal with me, they finally got it. Like, oh, okay, this is the one that I'm the chatty one. I'm the nice mediator. I met one guy the other day, and he's like, "No, I just like glowering at people." I'm like, "Oh no, this is a conversation, people. This is what we're gonna do." And I make the attorneys do stuff. So it's like, tell them about the default clause and do this and this and this. So I'm the affable one. Thank you for showing up. Until it's like, ma'am, you need to stop driving right now. Are you driving? Are you on a bus?
You're affable.
What
You're
are you
affable
doing?
until you need to tell someone to F off.
Yeah, sir, you need to get out of bed.
So I think we discussed this before, but you've had somebody call into mediation while driving?
Yes, I do get that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
A bus. Yep. That was the crazy part.
It's like illegal, isn't it? I'm not completely
Yeah,
It was
it stopped. I'm like, are you pulled over? Yeah, I'm parking it right now. It's just like, oh wow, this will only last like 15 minutes out of your life, really.
So for the record, is hands-free is legal in Florida, correct?
Yeah, but
Yes.
nobody. All right, yes, it is, but
Okay,
But
that's what I wanted to.
Because-
That's what I wanted. Yeah,
it's Zoom.
yeah.
So they try logging on Zoom. There's no hands-free Zoom.
Okay. No.
Right.
No, but in general driving,
I'm
yes,
not-
hands-free is
I'm
legal.
constantly
Yeah, okay,
doing this with
okay.
people. It's like, you're muted. Okay.
Oh.
You're muted.
That's a good
That's
idea.
pretty genius.
It is. And then there's the call. This is the text button. Just write in the chat. This is here. And then there is the strings and tin can. And I'm like, call this number and we'll put you on a string and tin can and we'll get you somehow.
So just so you know, there
is
is the video portion of this, Rox.
I know, that's all right.
Okay.
No one's gonna watch this anyway.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
come on, John. You can blur that out.
Yeah.
It went out live. What am I supposed to do?
yeah, and then there's sir, you're a cat. Sir,
So-
you're a cat.
Do that one.
You're a
I like
cat.
that.
Wait, you need to be careful. You're allergic.
That's how he knew.
Yeah, I know. That's how I knew that. But like in that video, like, I assure you, I'm not actually a cat. Yeah, if you were, then I would feel the dander from here.
There's also Godzilla invading the city. That's a warning.
Oh, very
Yep.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, you cannot in Georgia. I know you cannot video stream while driving, which is why I checked to see if Way Homers were legal. I'm only filming. I'm not going out live, so therefore, when I do them, it's legal.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's so funny because I watch those storm chaser guys that are driving around through snowstorms. They're live. They're like, here we are in Buffalo. And driving
they're
around,
out in
and
that
it's live.
storm
And
going,
it's like, thanks for that
"Come
super
arrest me."
chat. I know.
Yeah, get out of your car and arrest me.
Yeah, they're not really writing tickets for that in the middle of a tornado.
Probably not.
But then they can come after them if they've survived. They can come after them later with the video evidence. Like, we got the video. You did this.
Well, that.
So you've never seen Twister? It was all special effects, man. You think cows actually fly, man?
We got cows.
You know they're making a sequel.
Yeah, all you have to do is tell these guys, but
it's more cows.
Dean in Wisconsin gave you a $10 super chat. So they're making
it's
money
actually
as they're
Jim
going.
Cameron is doing it, John. It's called Twisters.
Spin the wheel.
Speaking of which, did anyone actually see Avatar 2?
No,
I didn't see I didn't even see the first one.
I have no interest in it at all.
Hang on, wait. There's something called Avatar. Tell us more.
Disney?
Yeah, it was a film that M. Night Shyamalan just completely botched.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
back
what
when
that
YouTube, back in 1931, when YouTube still had like a 10-minute limit, that's the one-way Homer I had to edit down because I was just ranting.
Is this the Legend of Korra? Is that what this is?
No, it was Last Airbender, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it should have been.
Well,
Is it in public
what's funny
domain
is-
now, though?
Yes.
Well, that's only if
The Way Homer?
if Avatar is not wearing a red shirt.
Did anybody watch Weird?
Doesn't that just make
No,
them
not yet.
How have you not watched Weird yet?
I know.
There's-
It's been
there's
it's
lots
been a
of
busy
stuff.
2023 so far.
No.
But no, I definitely want to just to support Daniel Radcliffe and his an incredibly gonzo approach to his career.
It is absolutely nuts. I thought
Not
for
that
sure.
he's out
I
of
was
the
like,
grips of she who will not be named.
I was watching the last season of Miracle Workers, and I was like, okay, surely he's done with this. Nope, he's coming back and doing more. I don't know if have you watched Miracle Workers at all
I have not.
on TBS. I mean, again,
Well,
it's
not going to be
amazing.
for that much longer. At this rate.
what do you mean?
Oh,
Well,
is TBS WB?
TBS,
Are they owned by Warner
TBS
Brothers?
is WB is in Warner Brothers, so
Okay.
it's probably not long for the world. At this rate.
Oh well, there is a season 4 coming out. I think it actually starts
there
like
is.
in a couple.
Yeah,
but
there's a couple of things they've already shot, but I don't know if they're going to commit to anything else.
I mean, but my point is with Daniel Radcliffe, he's just gone. Yeah, he's just okay. Whatever. I'll just take whatever the weirdest thing you think it is. Again, I don't know. He doesn't have to do Miracle Workers, but yet
but
he is. Just,
like,
it seems like he's just like having fun.
If you
But
were
the thing
offered,
is-
if you were offered an ensemble piece with Steve Buscemi, you'd fucking do it too.
There is that. There is
Well,
that.
I mean, he's
and
got,
Steve Buscemi's still doing it too. I'm like,
but he's got,
there's-
you know, there's the Potter money, but then every once in a while, Radcliffe goes off and does like the big Sandra Bullock movie that he gets that he gets a piece of, and then he can go off and do weird indie shit.
But weird is fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
It's I love the idea of the Weird Al biopic that parodies biopics. It's awesome.
It is.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to see it. But so Toughly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Or are we? Yeah. I guess.
Well, we're about to hopefully.
We're now definitely demonetized.
Now we're definitely doing this. Okay.
Yeah. No. Oh, we've been demonetized.
Hey, you know, we did two Dragon Con paddles that turned into podcasts about that too. If you want to go back and listen. To
but I'm just thinking, what's changed since then? Because since then, what is it?
There's less Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Well, what kills me is the fact that basically there are all these stories about, James Gunn sneezed, so that means he's gonna fire Wonder Woman and start over. It's like, what the fuck? I hate movie sites these days. They just give me hives.
Well, they have to have something to write about, right? Like, because there aren't films. Well, yeah, but there aren't films coming out, so it's not like you're not going to actually talk about the films. But the whole James Gunn thing, he's been in the job for like what, 2 months? Like,
yeah,
they've got a plan. They've got something. You don't know what it is,
and he's not going to tell you.
Well,
all I know is
he keeps okay. So he keeps posting pictures from Kingdom Come, which leads me to believe that eventually we're going to end up with Kingdom Come.
But he's smart enough to take us there rather than Kingdom Come is going to launch the new DCEU.
And I'm fine with that. If it takes us 10 years to get to Kingdom Come, okay. Perfect. Fine. And honestly, Cavill's going to be okay. Cavill's going to go do Warhammer. He's happier. I'm
surprised after everything that happened, he would want to be Superman again.
After all this, well, he does. You know, he genuinely loves the character, which is why he wanted to do it in the first place, and why he actually wanted to be in a film that he'd actually get to play Superman in.
What a concept!
What a concept!
I think he was Superman for I think all of 30 seconds so far in the DCEU. Yep.
And you know. Honestly, Cavill's going to be okay. He's going to go do Warhammer, which, by the way, he gets to be a producer on, which is kind of what he wanted anyway. So he gets to do that.
And hell, if they're going to come back and do Kingdom Come in like 10, 15 years, he can be Superman again.
Which is what they did with Brandon Routh in the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Spoilers for
whoever's watching
Crisis.
Yeah.
Exactly. Spoilers for Crisis, which you should have already watched already. But
if you were going to watch it,
wait. I thought people were watching Crisis now.
No. We're talking about the WB shows, not
I
the
know.
Speaker of the House voting.
Yeah.
Sorry. But
currents, kids, currents.
But no. All I know is that it's because of James Gunn that I was able to get my favorite Christmas gift, a plush Starro with a strap that I could put over my face like the first comic book I ever owned from JLA. I want to get Thespia, because she's the Photoshop genius, to like stick me on the cover with the Justice League with a thing on my face. That's just it. The fact that Starro was in a feature film
that had merch.
First of all, shouldn't have surprised me, because this is the guy who gave us, Groot and Rocket.
Yeah.
But yeah, so whatever he wants to do, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because.
Yeah, I'm. Here's the thing: is he going to be less successful than they already haven't been? No. Like. We already know what the floor is. What's the ceiling?
Well, the only thing that concerns me is, are they actually going to give him enough time and or budget and or resources to do what he wants to do? Because they're suffering right now.
That's the question.
That's kind of the question, and I don't know if Zaslav's gonna give him enough rope to do it. I don't know. Thing is, the slate that's coming out next year is not them, so they don't get judged for any of that.
I mean, theoretically, they will be.
They will be,
but
by the same movie site you're talking about. But who the fuck cares? But we've got this covered. Fuck you.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god, I'm so tired of the clickbait headlines where it's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that they used to do this. Kids, ask your parents for the 10 o'clock news. Earlier in the day, they would be like, "Are Venetian blinds giving your children cancer? Find out at 10 o'clock." And I'm like, listen, if Venetian blinds are giving people cancer, you better fucking tell us now. Fuck you, 10 o'clock.
I just saw a thread on Twitter talking about how that's happening now with a lot of headlines.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
the people who write the headlines are not the people who write the articles. So it's just like it is even more clickbaity stuff to get you to pay attention.
Well, and on the 10 o'clock news, they would be like, and so on the subject of Venetian blinds and cancer, do Venetian blinds give kids cancer? No. Good night, everyone.
Although, to be fair to the site I just said,
this just in.
Exactly.
That's another one.
Hollywood Reporter did a number that started a lot of this weird DC speculation. The one article where they went through the list of like everybody getting recast and everything, and it was like, and Gunn came out and said, yes, well, one of those is true. But you know, so when Hollywood Reporter's doing it, that's
I know. It's really sad.
But yeah, really, they've got nothing right now. So we'll find out what it is. We'll find out what the plan is. Although it's probably Kingdom Come in 10 years. That's probably what that is. But we'll see. And
done properly, it would be great. It's like what was it? Somebody was giving David Goyer grief on, he was great writing for Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, but for Batman versus Superman, he was shit. I'm like, yeah, but if you think about the mandate on Batman versus Superman, basically we want to make a movie about Batman fighting Superman like in Dark Knight Returns, but you can't use the story of Dark Knight Returns, and you can't use anything else in Dark Knight Returns, and you don't get the 40 some odd years of comic backstory of them being friends that leads into Dark Knight Returns and actually makes it worthwhile and kind of impressive. Good luck, David.
You got their moms both named Martha. That's all you got. Spoilers.
That's it. That's all you got.
You're not gonna watch.
Oh my god.
Are they still going ahead with Ezra Miller?
Right now, they're still gonna release that, but none of the cameos they filmed are gonna be in it.
Keaton's still in it though, right?
Keaton's still in it.
Okay.
We think. But Godot and Cavill and Ezra Miller and Momoa all shot cameos for.
Well, Ezra Miller's the guy.
But yes, they're all everyone. Everyone who isn't a Fleck.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah. So all the cameos have been removed, so they're not using any of what they shot for the other members of the League's cameos.
The man did a multi-state crime spree.
Yep. It's still going to come. Well, if he goes to jail, that's a different proposition, isn't it? Like, how's he going to promote a film?
Actually, that might be easier on Warner Brothers if he's not actually out there promoting the film.
That's also true because wasn't he on a promotional stint in Hawaii when he got popped for some of this stuff?
I think so.
Wasn't he supposed to be doing a promotional stint for the Fantastic Beasts movie when he got popped in Hawaii?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
It was so hard to keep up with for a while there because there was something coming out like every other day.
Yeah.
And now I'm not hearing anything about him, so I'm assuming they've frozen him in carbonite until it's time for the film to come out.
Well, I mean, he's still got the legal end of it, right? They still haven't decided whether he gets jail time or not for any of this.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with.
Things that can happen between now and the release of that film.
Oh yeah.
Theoretically, yes, The Flash is going to get released next summer. Theoretically,
right?
That's where we are right now. This summer, I guess.
And hey, if they can't because of legal troubles, can they write off Flash and give us Batgirl instead? Hey,
yes.
Well,
yes, please.
You know what I want? I was thinking what they need to do is have James Gunn go in and say, all right, Zablov, I'm going to take a look at Batgirl and see if I can't fix it. And then come back 2 weeks later, not have touched the fucking thing and go, yeah, I reworked it and it's good now. And just he probably just go ahead and go along with it.
Was that, and I think this might have been the director, one of the directors of Batgirl. They took meetings with James Gunn about something. So we'll see what that turns into. They might get a project out of it that isn't Batgirl, but they may get something else.
I mean, at this point, if you're working for Warner Brothers, you would need to have a pay or play contract, and that's for if you take a meeting. I mean, because otherwise, there's no guarantee your shit's ever going to see the light of day.
Or if
it does get on there, how long is it going to stay on there?
Well, yeah. Or if you're The Rock, it comes out, and then
Well, and I mean, it's funny because Netflix used to be the worst because they would give you one season and then just cancel you before you had a chance to get a following or anything. But now Warner Brothers will just not put your shit out.
Warner Brothers will go, "Hey, good job, you finished that season. We're not going to put it out at all."
Or take down the entire series.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is, especially with the DC animation thing, because they made the deal with Amazon for DC animation, so Amazon is gonna have all the DC animated stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they've made a deal. And they're also producing.
Are they dismantling HBO Max? Is that what's happening?
I think that's kind of what's happening because they're going to add the Discovery stuff in.
I think what I've heard is like they're going to I don't know if they're going to completely new service or not. I think they're just going to call it Max.
Well, I think part of it is if they either rename the service or change it in any way. It's kind of like, so there are still people who have HBO Max via AT&T internet subscription. So when they change the service, bye-bye freebies. That's what that means.
Oh. I get mine from a friend of mine.
As long as it's still the old name and the old service, they still owe AT&T the service because they're under contract to do so. But they change the name of the service and they change what the service is.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets them out.
That gets them out of the contract they have with AT&T. They lose those subscribers, but those weren't paying subscribers anyway.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
So they need money.
What surprises me is like maybe that explains why they're not keeping HBO Max and Discovery, because then I would seem like Warner Brothers
because the Discovery Plus stuff is the content that's being added.
Right. But my thing was, why didn't they just like make them into a bundle like Disney does? Because Disney says they have the most subscribers. That's because they count people who are subscribed to Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. But most people get that in like a package.
I think that so part of that is paying for bandwidth, which is the big deal that everybody has the problem with. Is paying for bandwidth. The other part of it is HBO, and we talked about this a bit in the Dragon Con stuff, so I don't really want to go listen to that. It's fun. But in brief, HBO Max's play was, we have all this stuff. Here, look at the stuff we have. We have all of this stuff. Come to us because we have the stuff you like. We have all of it. And it turns out,
and then they remove Westworld.
Well, yeah, but they didn't do that until it turns out that people didn't want all this shit in one place.
Yeah,
people wanted certain things. People wanted to find their, part of the design of HBO Max was that they removed Go. Go was the catch-up service for HBO.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the users who were using Max were using Max as a replacement for Go. So all they were doing was popping on, and if they missed an episode of Euphoria, that's where they went, because that's the only place you could go.
But I thought HBO home box office. I thought they removed Go.
No, that was part of the Max. That was part of the Max thing.
Huh.
So to juice the subscriber base for Max, they killed Go. So that and Max came with an HBO subscription. So if you subscribe to HBO on cable, instead of getting Go, you got Max, and then you counted as a subscriber for both HBO on cable and HBO Max. So they counted you twice.
Ooh, that's like voting.
But
in some states,
a lot of people were just using HBO Max to watch episodes of things they missed on the linear service. And when you went there, you either went there because you were trying to catch up on whatever Game of Thrones, Wings of Power, whatever. But Game of Thrones or whatever, that's basically all you did. If you wanted the new John Oliver episode, you went to the new John Oliver episode, and that was it because it was on the front page, and that's what you were looking for. Mm-hmm. But if you tried to go to HBO Max and search for anything, that's where you ran into problems because as somebody who's used HBO Max, the search did not work half the time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But then they would do some really interesting things though. Is like just like the old HBO, monthly they would tap into like TCM.
Yeah.
So you would be able to pick up because I think for the holiday they had a ton of these Thin Man movies.
Yeah.
Because I don't have TCM, so I'm like, I guess it's
or they had the thing where they did the rock movies or the rock and roll movies where they had Absolute Beginners, which we talked about at Dragon Con. I got to see because it was on TCM. And they had all those films through that month, right? And they still do that, but it's also like HBO where it's there for a minute and then gone.
Correct. Yeah.
After the month.
But I mean, for those of us who are older, that's really how that. I mean, HBO did that. Cinemax, Showtime, they all did that.
Yeah. But here's the skeezy part. With HBO Max pulled the plug on stuff before royalty payments were triggered.
Right.
So that's why Westworld goes away when it does. That's why the Sesame Street episodes go away when they do. That's why the Looney Tunes shorts, which are now going away, are going away when they do.
Oh, you mean, and also like the DCAU stuff.
Yeah. Because now they're triggering royalty payments to people.
So how come? Okay, because you're like the first person that I'd like to think I'm well read on news. You're the first person, and how come the Screen Actors Guild is not screaming this? How come? I mean, if you're an actor and you've been on a show for all right. So Boardwalk Empire that had 4 seasons, Widge? Was it 5?
That's right.
I'll
double check. But anyway,
but you know what? So you're saying a show that has at least 4 seasons, and then all of a sudden, when that magical, time
5
of
seasons.
5 seasons, will go into the royalty.
Well, I think in terms of play on. So let me back up for a second and think about. Okay, so part of them housing the show on the service, whether anyone watches the show or not, they still have to pay people for the show being on the service.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's say nobody watches Raised by Wolves.
Okay.
But it's there. And because it's there, those people have to be paid for it.
Okay.
Which is whatever the standard union royalty trigger is.
Okay.
Yep.
They have to be paid that rate whether people watch 1 episode or 0 episodes.
Okay.
So in an accounting term, HBO Max can go, hey, nobody's watching this. Why are we paying people for it?
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that's cool, but I'm saying that's why they're doing it.
Right. No, that's...
I think you're condoning it. I think you're really condoning it, to be honest with you.
No, all right. My thing is you're probably right, but it's like no one is talking about that kind of economics when it comes to creating a show, creating content, an actor, and tying that in with, you know, a guild actor, and then that whole, well, which actor is now like an executive producer, and I mean, the economics of a show like that, and now that you know what you're saying seems very plausible.
Because the other thing we're talking about here is when we're talking about stuff like HBO Max and stuff like Peacock, where you're talking about the Warner Brothers film library and the television library and the Universal television library, which is very large. And when you start talking about, you know, even no matter where these shows live or whether anybody actually watches these shows at the places they live, people have to pay for these shows to be there. So, you know, if it's good if you're being watched, because that way, if you've already, for all of the billions that were spent on The Office rights, people are watching The Office. So it's fine. But let's say you make a big investment on a television show, on an old television show that you stick on your streaming site that nobody watches.
Yeah.
Like, next time those rights come up, the next time those payment triggers come up, are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it there because you advertised it, or are you going to let it go because nobody's watching it?
Or not enough people are watching it.
Not enough people are watching it.
And I think the only rock, and Tuffley obviously correct me on this, and does often, which is good. But the only, as far as like canceling before a particular season, the two things that I'm aware of for that are generally the first season of a show. I know at least for the crew, is a different rate than subsequent seasons.
Part of the camera talent,
because
the crew, whether or not that thing airs.
And the second thing is that, and I'm sure they had part of this problem with Westworld, because you know the audience was diminishing. But after a while,
anyway, because it's based on the Crichton book.
Yes,
loosely. So
loosely.
You know, no matter what happens, Crichton gets paid, and then there's a tier of that was very weird with the rights anyway, which already made the show kind of expensive to start before anything filmed. So
you had a lot of A-list cast people in it as well, and the effects budget. But basically, as a show progresses, you have people renegotiating their contracts. And that was, getting some people killed off on Walking Dead because they wanted too much money.
Right.
And, you know, the other thing to keep in mind, particularly with Westworld, was the California fires after season 2. The Westworld portion of Westworld was torched.
Right, yeah.
Like, the sets were destroyed, which is part of the reason they took that shift into the future in season 3 and 4, was that they didn't have the Old West set. The Old West sets were burned. The Old West sets were destroyed. That's why they couldn't go back.
What do you think about, like, I keep hearing things that they're trying to lessen the debt because they're thinking of maybe selling it to something like Universal or Apple or something like that.
That's possible, but I mean, Apple's got tons of cash, but they're going to go after somebody. They're going to go after somebody like A24. They're going to go. They're going to go after small. They are right now A24's biggest patron. Let's be honest. If they're going to go after anybody, it's going to be like a smaller studio like A24, or if they're going to make a big move, the biggest move they're probably going to make is probably Lionsgate, which is also up for sale.
And to their own content. I mean, they did really well with Severance. I mean, that is really good. That is a really, really solid show that I'm like,
you know, and every day you keep hearing, like, not really hearing, but the rumors are persistent about Apple kind of buying in more to A24, especially, you know, if everything all at once, you know, is the Oscar darling, then that's going to change the
and I you know, I love A24 because it's like that kind of, you know, we're now at the point that people can make their own small budget films. It's now they can't even make an inroad into the streaming services.
Yeah.
You know, of seeing sort of this little indie film. I mean, there was the latest, you know, Clerks film. I haven't even seen that. I mean, it was a release somewhere, but it's getting hard. And I know going back to like John Waters, they're giving him money.
Yeah.
I forgot who it is, but he got a green light to do a film. And he said years ago, I'm writing because even when he made it with Hairspray and Serial Mom, because those were the two closest films that were acceptable in the general, you know, pop culture. He's like, no studio would touch me. And all of a sudden, I don't know who's giving him money, but he's got a film coming out next year.
Well, and the other thing too is
I think it's Loudmouth.
Yeah, it's Loudmouth, and he's got a 7-inch single that's selling too.
Yeah. So
well, and I think the other thing too is like with John Waters, he doesn't need a lot of money. So this whole thing that we've been talking about for eons about rather than giving somebody $200 million to go make a movie that might be hit or miss, give 20 people $1 million, and then
that's
you know,
Blumhouse.
What's that?
Blumhouse. That's what they do.
Blumhouse.
Yeah.
Well, it's like give the Daniels, who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, $1 million and just say
that film.
Go nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, if Michelle Yeoh isn't at least nominated, then I think we should just burn Hollywood to the ground. But
yeah, I mean the whole Warner Brothers thing, it could be they're setting up for a sale, but I don't think they are. I think if anything gets sold, I imagine it's going to be the things that cost Warner Brothers the most at the moment are the Turner networks because of the sports of the sports contracts, and Cartoon Network because of the animation division. If anything is getting sold piecemeal, it's going to be the Turner networks.
Okay.
And that's the thing. But who's going to buy them is the question.
Well, like you said, it's the sports stuff.
I mean,
it's the sports stuff. I mean, we've been hearing. I can't remember.
Well, Disney can't buy any more sports stuff because they had to get rid of the Fox Sports channels to begin with. That's why Bally's going under.
What about isn't not Netflix? Who is it? I can't remember now. Somebody got like access. It's like Amazon or somebody.
I mean, YouTube TV got the Sunday Ticket.
Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube TV made a play for Sunday Ticket.
Yeah,
I mean,
Amazon does play some NFL games as well.
Amazon got Thursday Night Football. Netflix made a bid for F1 rights. I mean.
It's probably, I mean, there are buyers.
They're staying with ESPN though,
right? But Netflix only did that because they had Drive to Survive, and that's a big hit for them, and they thought they could go after the rights. What you get with sports rights, it's a little weird, but that seems to be that's a certain corner of media will try to play for that, but I don't think ESPN's going to touch the Turner rights because they own half the rights that Turner have anyway.
But all right, so the thing is but with sports stuff, it's not like residual stuff. Nobody rewatches a game.
I rewatch Formula One races.
Well,
slip some FIFA officials under the table some money allegedly. There's residuals. But yeah, I mean, there are residuals in I guess old the library, older games, and also just the sports themselves. You're not paying for when you're paying for sports rights. You're not paying for, the actual events. You're paying for the name.
Archive.
Okay.
Yeah, you're paying for name brands.
Okay.
You're paying for the NFL. So you can say, hey, I have the NFL.
Well, you're also getting a cut of the ad money.
Well, yeah.
Which is pretty in many ways that's more than what the channel generates on its own.
Yeah.
So you want the revenue from that.
Yeah, but also it's people still, for everything you say about football, people still watch football.
Mm-hmm.
People still watch lots of football, and anything you put after football, people are at least going to watch the first 10 minutes of.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it has theoretically kept CBS in business for decades.
Decades.
Right?
Yeah.
It's half the reason 60 Minutes is still on the air, because it's on after football.
Yeah, it's like, oh, don't turn it.
Honestly,
it's that Leslie Stahl. It's that Leslie
not the
Stahl.
content of the show. It's the fact that it follows football and no one changes the channel.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, kids, I'm heading out. So
Okay.
Bye,
Do you have any recommendations?
I do.
Oh, hey.
So, speaking of like small press, small, creators and stuff, this has been going on for some time. Mineshaft, Rob, yeah. So this is a little project from Arcrum, and
Nice.
I had to go to a board of trustee meeting, and the guy who's the head of our zine collection saw me. He's like, "You're Roxanne." I'm like, "Yeah, hey, hi, how are you?" And he's like, you're our patron." I'm like, "Yeah." So we were talking zines. I gave him a ton of zines. Rob, did I send you the Wasted Quarter?
No, but I have a whole thing of zines I have to send you anyway.
Okay, I got like 3 sets of Wasted Quarter. So I got to send you that. The Wasted Quarter, the guy that wrote this really cool series in the Midwest, that's in our collection now. But Mineshaft, this is an older one. So this is 26. He's, I think, up to 46, I think, now. So he highlights different artists and stuff. He does some drawings and stuff, but he does this thing about his dreams. They're always kind of really cool and stuff. So Mineshaft, it is a bit pricey for a zine, but the quality is really good.
Yeah.
What is this? It's probably a risograph. So $9 for that.
Yeah, I've never owned one. I've always either know people that have them that let me read theirs, or I've come through it in a store.
We have like 4. Somebody donated 4 copies to our library.
Nice.
So if somebody's out there, look, if you have a collection of zines and you just want to get rid of them, go hit up your local library, find the hipster librarian and say, "Look, let me donate these."
He'll have a fedora on.
Because, I think I mentioned this the last time. Our own executive director has said, like, he's gotten into them now.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're like historic artifacts. I'm like, yes, they are.
Yeah, the Missouri Historical Society is putting zines in the state archives.
Very cool. So, so that's that one. There's a local one called Wax and Wane. This was done on a risograph, and it's really cool about this guy's dream and stuff. So, he brought the risograph. So it's a type of printing press, not like the mimeograph, kind of, but it's a way of printing single color, then adding a color. So it's a really cool printing technique. So this is Kozlowski, and this is a new one, 2022, and it's an odd size. So they are supporting, our library is supporting our local author, our artists and stuff. Paper Cutter is another one. Oh, Happy Tapper. I got to give you some of those, Rob.
Okay.
He too is local, and those are fun. And this is like $4. So those are those. For Tuffley, it's kind of interesting. So now I sort of I have like a set of like, wireless earbuds, but I really don't like the sound if I'm going through Roku to listen off of my TV, because I have a set of Shure 535s. And the problem when you use a dongle for your phone, you're losing a lot of the depth of your woofers and the tweeters that are in the drivers. So I picked up a Quadilex little DAC for mine. So it's really cool. It's Bluetooth. So if you use Roku, you can download the app, which is the remote to your phone, and then from here.
So it's like a preamp for your earbuds.
Mm-hmm, yes. So so a DAC is a digital audio converter, and it's an amp, and it doesn't. It was really weird. Shure tried to do a wireless amp, but the problem is you were getting a lot of hissing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, this is not going to go. So I hit up Best Buy, but they don't sell them. But there was an audio guy there. I said, hey, do you have DACs? And he's like, what do you want a DAC? I'm like, yeah, those digital blah, blah, blah. He's like, we don't have them here, but do you want a recommendation? I'm like, yes, I do. So this one, I don't know. I think this was like $60 or something. So if you have a good set of IEMs, such as the Shures or something, I think this works out really well. So that's what I got. And I will have to say this. I finally got it. So anybody that knows me knows I collect Arkham House books. So this is the book. This is my sort of touchstone. It's Dark Carnival. So it is Ray Bradbury's first hardcover compilation of his short stories. Now the cool thing about this is a few years later, after the rights were kind of done on this, they were able to reissue some of the short stories from this into October Country. And that came, so this was 1947. So this was 1947. And then Dark Carnival or October Country came out later. The cool thing is he went through and edited a number of the stories that were in this one that went into October Country. So this is the first iteration of a lot of the stories, such as The Lake, Uncle Einar, and Homecoming. So there's some noticeable differences in some of the stories because he was able to use that. And I think in the first edition of October Country, he does give August Derleth, a thank you for, giving him the opportunity. The cool thing is it's signed. So
nice. I have a signed Bradbury that I got at a used bookstore in Springfield, Illinois. I didn't know it until I got home.
So the cool thing, the provenance, nice. I'm using that special word, provenance. The guy who sold this, he was a tech guy for Dragon Con. So I'm like, and he mentioned this in the his the description. So I started texting him back, and I'm like, because even without a dust jacket, it runs 500 without a signature.
Wow.
Jesus.
I'm gonna, so to Jeff, thank you. His dad died. So he needed to raise some money. And so I'm like, oh my God, you know. It was the days before Ray showed up at Dragon Con. Ray signed this in 92. Ray didn't show up until 97, I think. So that was the day where you had to know somebody who knew somebody that could get to Ray's agent. So that's what had happened. He's like, hey, I have a copy of this Dark Carnival. Would you sign it? So I have his sales receipt. I have one postcard of Ray sending, like, hey, send the book after I get back from Europe. Ray Bradbury.
That's awesome.
And then a letter saying, here's your book. Thank you very much. You don't owe me anything. Enjoy this book, blah, blah, blah. So that is the cool thing about, so this was my birthday present to myself. It's just like, so this is the book I've been like really, forget like the first, that would be really cool to find is the first, Arkham House book. But to me, as a Bradbury fan and stuff, this was great. So that's what I got.
Nice.
2023. Thank you. And Happy New Year.
See you next month, kid.
See you. Yes, indeed.
Bye. Bye.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
All right.
I saw on the agenda which you wanted to talk about Wednesday.
What agenda?
But it's only Tuesday.
But I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Okay.
What? What were we saying?
You were saying
yes.
Yes.
I saw it.
I have just started it, so.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard things.
Yeah, I've watched it, and it's okay.
You don't sound like you're enjoying it, Scott. It sounds like you're enduring it.
Okay.
On a scale of modern Tim Burton, where are we?
Ooh.
That's dangerous. That's a dangerous question.
Okay, here's the thing. It's not as ridiculous as some of the things Tim Burton has done.
Okay.
In some ways, at least in that regard of his style, it's a bit more subdued. It isn't like crazy nuts. It isn't Alice in Wonderland. Like I said, here are the pros. Jenny Ortega is fucking amazing. I mean, especially with a role where you're supposed to be completely deadpan most of the time, and still portray a character. She does an amazing job. But at least to me, it seemed like the guys who created this show had this idea about a girl occult detective who goes to a special school and all sorts of mystical and mysterious things happen. They couldn't get that sold, but then they'd see if they could put like the Addams Family stuff into it to maybe get a series out of it.
And these are the Smallville guys, right?
These are the Smallville guys. That's what it seemed like to me. Because you have like the perky best friend, you have the queen bee of the school, you have the tortured artist, you have the soulful townie, the sheriff who's maybe kind of bigoted, you have like the head mistress who's also got it feels very formulaic. And honestly, the Addams, if you scraped off the Addams stuff, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's that essential to the piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
So you're saying it's the Addams let's just say the Addams Family license is the thing that kind of makes this work, or
no, it feels like they put on the Addams Family stuff in it to sort of supplement what they originally came up with.
Okay.
And then that's what got this sold. Whatever they had originally wasn't enough. So they had to put something else on it to make it saleable, to get people interested. Because everybody remembers the Addams Family. So it's like they use that to sell it, but that's the package it comes in. But what's inside is actually just a kind of rote young adult mystery, supernatural thing.
And to be fair, that is kind of what's being watched right now.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm probably not the target audience.
Yeah, particularly in the Netflix brand, which is Stranger Things at the moment. So, shows complement each other, even though I don't get either one of them.
Yeah, and then there's the stunt casting of Christina Ricci.
Stunt casting.
Yeah, Christina Ricci's in the show.
So she's a teacher, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. She's one of the teachers at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say
she's the murderer.
She is.
She's the Wednesday of Earth too.
It's like Michelle. It's like Michelle Gomez in Sabrina. So,
spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But the thing is, also, to make sure she didn't look like Wednesday at all, they put Christina Ricci in like the worst wig possible. Oh my god. The entire series, I was totally expecting her to take this thing up to a real or true identity. That thing stayed on, and I'm like, why would you put her in that shit of a wig if you're not going to do a reveal?
She reveals she's the older Wednesday.
She's Scooby-Doo.
She's a future Wednesday. Come back in time.
She's a Wednesday that has full control of the Speed Force.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing they do to Wednesday is they give her
Toughly, flash fact.
The other thing they do is like they give Wednesday prophetic visions. And that's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Like I said, I'm not the audience.
Procedural.
Kinda.
I mean, I'm still kind of intrigued, which I guess is saying something. But
like I said, watch it for her. She just nails it. Like I said, for somebody to put in,
it's on Netflix, and they're going to cancel it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, they left it, so we'll see.
But I think they'll leave them. I think they leave them up though at Netflix.
Yeah.
But they just bury them so you can't see them.
Also, I think Wednesday did great numbers, so I think they are going to continue with it.
Yeah, I mean, it actually ended up higher up on the most viewed list than Sandman, but
well, like I said, at this point, anyone who takes a series to Netflix expecting more than one season is insane and probably should seek help. You go to Netflix if you have like, oh, I have this 6 to 8 episode series, it's that and done. That's what you take. And then, if they want a second season, if you have an idea for one, maybe you run with it. But like $18.99 thing, who goes to Netflix at this point with a 3-season idea? What the fuck? That's just asking for it. Asking for God to punch.
They should know that Netflix is only for making season 3 of something that was canceled.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, if you've got 3 seasons of something and your show collectively costs $12, you can still get it in Amazon because they're looking for cheap shit now. So,
but the thing is, another show that came out this year, Heartstopper, they did the right thing. Is like they did like the first book, and they ended it where it could continue, but if it just ended there, that would be fine. So because there are other books in the series, so they hedged their bets, shall we say, when they did their season. It's like they ended it at a good place, but it could continue on without being like, wait, I thought you resolved all this. You know, they left it.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing that I thought was interesting about the Sandman renewal, is that they're not technically doing a season 2. They're just doing. It sounds like they're going to do a story arc, and then they might do what they did with the bonus episode, where it's like these bottle issues. They could just throw one out.
They're trying to figure out whether they're going to call it what they're actually going to, the terminology that they're going to call it. Are they going to call it volumes like the books were, or are they going to call it like particular storylines? Because they didn't want the Sandman : you know,
right?
Because I had seen a bunch.
Who does that?
I'd seen a bunch.
Not enough brain in the world.
I've seen a bunch of people talking about the thing we didn't want was like 7 titles.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want the Sandman, then something else.
Right.
But they're talking about whether they want to do it in terms of, like you were saying, storyline or volume, or because they're not really sure if they want to call it seasons. They want to call it something else. But it'll be interesting because I'm curious to see where they drop Shakespeare in. Where they drop where they drop those we know the Midsummer one. I don't know if we're going to get all the way through the whole story, but there's one at the end. But
well, all I want, there's 2 things I want. I want Season of Mists, which is my favorite story arc, and I want Hob Goes to the Ren Fair issue, where basically have an immortal guy going with his girlfriend to a Renaissance festival and bitching the whole time about how unrealistic it is. They should just shower people with shit when they walk through the gate. It's probably one of my favorite.
That would be a great
of all time.
That would be a great.
It's hilarious.
And
it's hilarious.
What would be great is if they have, like, you know, Morpheus decides, you know what, you could have an extra visit. I'm feeling lonely, and he takes Morpheus.
What? Oh my God!
No. Not
Corbin time.
No.
Remember when he morphed all over that guy?
I could use some crystal meth.
No. But it's like, you know, have Hob and Morpheus go to the Ren Fair, and just have Morpheus go, what is your problem? Because this is, I don't know that
it's part of the story is the fact that the immortal person he runs into is not Morpheus. So, but yeah, it is. I just loved it because he's just so irate about it the whole time, and I just found that fucking hysterical.
But yeah, I'll be surprised if we get more than whatever the hell they're calling this, because it's a really expensive show.
Mm-hmm.
And, or at least the way they're making it, it's a really expensive show. There's not really a way you can cheap out and do it all in Vancouver. So unfortunately, you know,
there's a squirrel in the attic.
There is squirrels.
Did you say there's a Skrull in the attic?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh wow.
Oh God.
I don't know. I mean, I maybe I could see them maybe cheaping out a little, but it did great. It got them a lot of attention, and that's what, you know, Netflix.
Yeah, but I also Exhibit B, which is American Gods, like. They went real expensive on those first 2 years, and then they did cheap out and go to Vancouver, and look what happened. It still didn't help. So
that show may have had some other issues, though.
The show may have
besides shooting location.
The show may have had quite a few other issues as well, but you know, you did notice the drop off in like quality between the first 2 seasons, where they had all the money in the world to do it, and then the following seasons, which did not.
So, with the fact that all these streaming services are getting their asses handed to them, at least that's what I'm seeing. So where does this end? Where do you see this ending?
I don't.
In hell.
And how? I don't know.
I said hell.
Oh.
I said hell.
Oh well. Sure.
Oh, is this a new thing? That
yes, it's a new thing.
Oh,
it's a new thing.
And thank God that worked.
I've been away for a while, so
he has to talk like that for the rest of the episode.
Tonight on Johnny Darko.
Oh God! Please don't make that a series.
There's going to be some consolidation. There's going to be. I mean, Amazon's not going anywhere because it comes with Prime.
Wait, what?
And
I keep hearing the Amazon is disappearing.
Yeah, and Netflix is probably not going anywhere yet. Although
Netflix makes a profit.
Do they though?
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They don't.
I think they do actually.
Yeah,
I think he's right.
I think they're the only ones that make. They had a dip, but they've recovered. So
I mean,
they're
Disney's
the only ones.
I mean, Disney's end game is always the park. So,
well,
yeah,
that and
really
merchandising.
Matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter as far as Disney goes.
Yeah, and I think you've got the parks, but you've also got the Disney Plus Marvel stuff to lead you into the cinema to hopefully see the films and
yeah.
And I wonder how much of that can they write off.
Well, I think the other thing is, particularly where it comes to Disney Plus, how long is this content buildup going to continue? Because they're on a pretty quick pace for all.
Well, actually, I just read an article that said that they're recently, at least with the Marvel stuff, I think they're starting to talk about quality over quantity.
Yeah,
they've moved some things further down the road.
And also, if Disney Plus is going to do, especially in terms of Disney Plus, if they're going to do more stuff like the Doctor Who deal, like we're going to bring shows in from third parties. Like, I thought the whole point of Disney Plus was the stuff that you had in house,
and everything else you've bought.
I thought that was kind of the point of that. But
has Disney Plus hasn't come up with anything. I mean, like, they haven't brought in anything. How to describe it? HBO had Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
I mean, it was an existing IP, but it was something they really developed into being a worldwide phenomenon.
You mean besides the Marvel and Star Wars stuff?
Exactly.
Well, which they own, so
well,
they own it. So yeah,
but it was
they have the Mighty Ducks.
I mean, but I don't know. It's like, I think maybe they are looking for something outside that's, that could still have some development.
They have that basketball thing with John Stamos. Let's see, what else do they got? I mean, these are definitely trend-setting shows. So
I mean, I know the reason they did the Doctor Who deal was because they're launching internationally, and that gets them in the front door in places that Marvel and Star Wars don't. Right, I mean, that's why they did it, and B, maybe, and they still get out of it cheaper than making a Star Wars or Marvel show.
Well, and I still like the idea that people have been talking about Henry Cavill being Captain Britain.
Yeah.
And I think you just need to do a co-production with the BBC so that you can bring so it has a distinct British feel to it that Disney could not pull off on their own.
Yeah, they could do that. I don't think they're going to do that, but they could do that.
I don't think they're going to do it, but I think it would be fun.
I think here's the thing: Cavill's being set up at Amazon. Amazon owns MGM. MGM co-owns the Bond franchise. Where do you think this is going?
They have already been talking about somebody.
Well, they've been talking about a lot of people, but well,
the latest It person is, I can't remember what his. I just saw it.
Oh, what is it? The
Aaron.
Yeah, the kid who played Quicksilver in the MCU.
Yeah, they're talking about him.
Yeah,
but he's not British, is he? Is he?
Yeah.
Who knows? Half the people play Americans or British or Australian.
Oh shit, he's English. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I have never seen him with his real accent.
Yeah. So
Huh.
yeah, they are looking at him, but if Cavill's in the stable, they'd be dumb not to do it. They'd be dumb not to suggest it. It doesn't mean Eon's going to do it, because Eon's never done anything MGM's ever suggested, ever. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think Apple probably is just playing with it, playing with streaming services is kind of a toy thing right now. As if they see more money in the service, they'll probably do it. And honestly, if the time is coming, because with the EU making their crackdown on app stores, and with a couple of other dominoes lining up against the money Apple takes in from the App Store, if Apple loses a lot of their spare cash, they're really not going to be wanting to chase down every new thing Jason Momoa wants to do. So, I think Apple Plus is just kind of toy for them right now. I don't think it's a serious thing, because Apple TV has never moved anything as a device anyway. So I don't really think that's what they're going to do long term, unless they buy a studio or some movie theaters, which that's the other part of it that's in play, because Netflix and Amazon want to get into buying actual movie theaters, so they have places to show things for word contention. So
has that
there's still a rule about that, isn't there?
Yeah, that's still in play, right? The rule against that.
I know. Netflix owns some theaters.
So, from what I understand, is after they did the breakup of that in the studio system, these companies can buy a theater and for their movies, but they have to leave it open to show others.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's some kind of a backdoor agreement. Like if Amazon buys a theater, you'll see Amazon and Netflix stuff on it, as well as major studio stuff. And the trade-off is that Amazon will be able to or Netflix will be able to have a theater, and then a studio can pretty much set up the booking for the theater and the streaming in one package deal.
Yeah. And what is it? We think Regal's on the block, right?
Regal's on the block. Landmark has been selling off theaters for a while.
But that's just individual theaters. Regal as a chain might be fully on the block.
And AMC is still touching there too.
Yeah.
But I could easily see Amazon buying one and Netflix buying the other.
But with Cineworld being on the ropes like that, I could see Regal going to somebody. So
and really the first place they need to buy a cinema would be in Orange County.
Yeah.
Since that basically, to qualify for the Oscars, all you got to do is release a film on one screen in Orange County on Christmas Day.
In New York.
Netflix
own New York? Okay.
Doesn't Netflix own a small theater in California?
They might. I mean,
I believe they do. I believe they've already made a deal for one.
Well, I think too they did.
And I think they own one in New York already.
I think they also rent out Tarantino's theater.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I think it's weird because I think the streamers are trying to get, I guess, brick and mortar a bit. But then Amazon did that with stores and pulled back, so we'll see.
Well, part of it too is that they had no idea that people still loved going to theaters still. They assumed that the theater was dead. They didn't plan on people still going to actual movie theaters for movies.
Well, it's sort of like the same thing with the online services, because Facebook bulked up and Twitter bulked up because they thought people were just going to stay home now. And that when that bounced back, when people, whether real or imagined end of pandemic, people went back outside at the first available opportunity and dropped their computers like a bad habit. So
and they still haven't figured out that people don't just go to the cinema for any old thing.
Yeah,
they it has to pass the 300 test. You have to see the trailer and go, holy fuck, I need to see that on the big screen. Otherwise, you'll just wait.
And to bring up Avatar, I mean, I guess somebody's seeing it because it's made a lot of money.
It has, and
it's getting a lot of kids.
The only reason I'm interested is because I have seen some people who didn't like the first one even more than I didn't like the first one. I thought the first one was okay. Say that the second one was a vast improvement over the first one. So I'm intrigued to see if that's possible.
I haven't seen any of them, but when we get to the ones that Cameron doesn't do, are those going to be better? Because I remember Strange Days was better because Cameron stepped away. So
Strange Days was good for so many reasons. But yeah, that was the problem with the first film is that. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, I was going to say about the streaming services is just some of them are, because the ones that are done like Paramount Plus, NBC Universal, the kind of smaller ones that are just like from one studio. I don't know if they have enough, like, enough library and enough new stuff to compete with like a Netflix or Disney Plus or like whatever HBO Max turns into. In some ways, I think it would be. I wonder if at some point they'll go back to, if it's too expensive to run their own service, if they'll go back to licensing their stuff to something like Netflix.
Well, I mean, to an extent, that's what WB's doing. I mean, WB made a deal with Amazon to parcel out the DC animation stuff. And they're going to make new stuff over at Amazon. But it's still going to be Warner's. They're still going to own it.
Do you think that they'll do that with like other studios who have streaming services? Do you think they'll?
I think they're doing it now. I mean, like I said, Universal's television library is just vast. It's stuff you don't even know is Universal, and everybody has it. Everybody already does. So I think, and again, we started with HBO Max where it was, we have all this stuff. And they discovered the thing about that is nobody cares. Nobody cares how much stuff you have. It's, do I want to watch the stuff you have? Or do I want to watch the stuff you have in your box? And, if you
they'll wait until you take that stuff and make it into a new thing.
Or they'll wait until they take that stuff and move it somewhere that you'd rather be. Maybe I don't want to watch The Office on HBO Max. Maybe I want to wait till it moves to Peacock, because it will. What if I want to watch this X show somewhere else? Because, we all know how the state of the game goes, that it's going to end up being somewhere else later. It's bundles. It's how things are bundled. And that's what it's going to be. And I think people have kind of are kind of starting to withdraw from, we're going to keep all our balls in house. We're taking our balls and going home.
Yeah, because that was like the big thing was like when Netflix became huge, all these other companies were like, why are we giving them money to host our stuff?
Well,
that's when all the other studios started coming up with their own streaming services.
And to be fair to that, what Netflix did was capitalize off an island of misfit toys off things studios discarded. And the problem is, once you've made those discards a success, then if it's all successful and none of it's failures, then there's nothing for someone to get on the cheap. You know what I mean? There's nothing that anyone can't just pick up for, we'll take it. We'll promise to air it. And there are still a couple of cases of that. NBC has shows they cancel because it's most of what's on NBC. But some of those shows end up going to Netflix. Some of those are just a pipeline to Netflix, where they could be on Peacock and they're not. I think Manifest is probably the biggest thing that Netflix has that came from an NBC show. So Universal's still getting the money for that. So it's all kind of cyclical. They've all gone through we've taken everything and gone home thing now. So now, I especially with WB parceling their stuff back out, I think most of that is because they really need the money. Yeah. You'll get to a point, and well, the best example I can think of is, and Paramount did not mean to do this, but they sold the rights to Yellowstone proper.
Right.
They sold to what, Peacock? So
Peacock, it's on Peacock. Yeah.
Peacock gets streaming rights to Yellowstone, whereas it doesn't air on their network.
But that's when they started doing the spin-offs, and it's like
that's the spin-offs are all Paramount Plus. That's why they're doing the spin-offs, because they get to keep the spin-offs. But
the Yellowstone extent the Yellowstone cinematic universe.
Yeah, the Yellowstone.
Yeah, and the upcoming Fear the Yellowstone.
Fear the Yellowstone.
Yep.
I just miss Yogi and Boo Boo.
Yeah. Yellowstone Criminal Intent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Yogi, when he was trapped under that dumpster, actually did the dignity of actually dying that day.
Oh,
so I know, spoilers and everything, but
fine. Gotta bring.
That's why, that's why you miss him. Otherwise, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when the series ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, legends have endings. Speaking of which, we should probably mosey towards recommendations.
Now
that we've
I guess
solved all the problems of streaming services. Go, Tuffley.
All right, so I showed Widge pictures of this the other night, and you were fascinated.
We don't need to see it. We're already demonetized. Oh, okay.
You can see it. It's the Atari 50th anniversary collection. It's pretty much on every system.
Fuck you.
And
fuck you. 50,
wow.
50 years. No, it's just like reminding me how old Atari.
Like, what did Atari do to you? Well, besides
it was around when I was a child, and now I'm no longer a child, and I'm reminded of that.
Okay. So anyway, this is a really good. This is not because they come out with these collections of video games, of older video games, and I have this nasty habit of buying the newest, fastest ray tracing piece of console shit and sticking Galaga on it. That's what I do. And what this is more like a museum. Like, this is literally like it has exhibits and it has pictures and it has, the brochures. I was showing Widge stuff about Sword Quest the other night. It has the 3 Sword Quest games that were released and the DC comics that came with them, so that you can figure out the puzzles when you actually play the game. It also has the 4th Sword Quest game that was never released because Atari went under. The whole industry went under. But they have the finished version of the 4th Sword Quest game in this, and it's it's all the arcade stuff. It goes through all the home vid stuff. It goes through the PC stuff. It goes through Lynx and the Jaguar, and it's really interesting. Not just a collection of games. It's really interesting as an oral history of the company. It's really interesting. And it's actually one of the better games that collection games that came out last year. So the Atari 50th, really good. It's on PC. I think it's on PC, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation. So you can check that out on your newer, on your new fast consoles. You can play Combat. It's time has come.
So you get the newest consoles to play the old stuff on, and then you get a turntable to play new stuff on.
To play new stuff on. Yep. Speaking of old stuff, we'll go with Exhibit B. Exhibit B, the Mighty Lemon Drops, Inside Out. It is a collection is a remastered or re-release of the first 3 Mighty Lemon Drops albums. And it also includes some demos, some live stuff, and some of the Enemy C86 stuff, which is really good to have because these have been out of print for a really long time. So I was looking for this and got it for Christmas for myself. So Really good collection. You can check that out. I also got part of the Christmas haul. I got Questlove's Music is History. It's a fun book. I enjoyed this. Really good read. And the other thing I got was Tom Breen's number ones.
Okay, hold on.
No,
he's already at 2, so we're fine.
Bring it. Okay.
No,
which is based on his stereo. It's different essays. It's not the same thing as the stereo gum columns, but it is really good. And if you've enjoyed the column at stereo gum, it is more thought out versions of many of the same things, but presented a little bit differently.
Yeah, even though he said I wasn't knowledgeable enough about music to write for his webpage, I still like his book.
So, there's that. Also, the thing that I don't have the cover for is Marvel's Midnight Suns, which Kim has been enjoying. It is from the people who make XCOM. It's from Firaxis. And it is I'm not sure if I'm going to do this justice in the description, but it's a tactical card game. Yeah. So it's a tactical card game. So instead of controlling combat moves with what you do in XCOM, where it's, Overwatch or whatever, you're using cards. You get a deck of cards, and those cards represent actions. And that's how the combat works.
Is this Pokemon the card game for Marvel?
No, it's not, because Widge has that recommendation.
No, that's Snap. Oh.
That's Widge's recommendation. But it is, if you I think you'd probably be more used to it if you're coming from Strike Force or Snap. That might be a little more familiar to you, or how that might work. But it's a tactical card game. It's also and I don't think anybody here has played Fire Emblem, but it's kind of a mix of like XCOM and a card game and Fire Emblem, where you have to do the relationship thing to get bonuses.
Well, this sounds like I could actually play it.
You might.
Because when I saw the trailer, nothing about anything I've seen said, "Oh, this is a card game."
Yeah, because they've been very careful not to show the combat, because as soon as you show people it's a card, the combat system is cards. They're afraid they'll turn people off. But since Snap and Strike Force have been successful. They're a little more. They've been in the newer trailers. They've been a little more reticent to like show off some of the combat, where they weren't before in the initial ones. A lot of it was just cinematics in the beginning. But
I could actually work with cards. Otherwise, it's like all these combat things that I see. Look, unless I can do the combat with an old Atari paddle, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe the old joystick.
There's no twitchiness. All you have to do is play the cards, and depending on, they won't give you cards you can't use. So it's
okay.
It's a tactical game with cards, but it's also a puzzle, because you have to figure out what cards you use and what tandem you to use them in, if that makes sense. So what cards makes the combat more efficient. But also it sounds complex to describe, but once you start to actually play the cards and do the actions, it's a little easier to do.
Right.
It's easier than I'm making it out to be, but it's fun. So Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Cool.
And,
all right, thank you, Tuffley.
Yeah, that's it.
Was that everything? Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Go, Scott!
Okay, first a book. It came out a little while ago, but I haven't been on in a while, so I figured, what the hell? The book is I'm Glad My Mother Died by Jeanette McCurdy. She was a child actor back in the 90s. She starred in iCarly, and she recounts how her mother was the narcissistic stage mom. She introduced her to caloric restrictions when she was 6 and encouraged her to get into acting. And it's her recollections of dealing with her mom and her craziness, and then going into acting and having to deal with Dan Schneider and that sort of thing. And how allegedly actually, like, there is some stuff about him, but not it's a lot of the really bad stuff is involving the mom, so it doesn't put the industry in a great light, but it's not like the industry completely destroyed me. There was a lot of other stuff going on, but it really shows how it took her a long time to sort of get out of like her eating disorders and the other problems that she had. But it really shows that you can get out of these terrible situations. You can affect, it doesn't have to completely obliterate you. It can't. It does have. It shows that you can make friends. You can have a life outside of teen stardom, and that sort of thing. So it was a really interesting book, and I really liked it. So that's one recommendation. Second one is a game, Shadows over Loathing. It is based on the online game Kingdom of Loathing, or basically it's a humorous role-playing game.
Oh, this is the follow-up to the Western one.
Yes.
Yes. Love it.
Yes. It graphically, it's very easy because it's all stick figures and stick drawings, but the language is very humorous. It definitely does a great send-up of a lot of Lovecraft shit and sundry, and like it's set in 1928, so you have like speakeasies and flappers and all that weird shit, and it's a lot of fun. It's very humorous. The combat, they have very interesting combat mechanics. Like you can be a cheese wizard, or what was it, a jazz assassin, or the classes are like, it's like based on like muscle, moxie, or mysticism. And it's even with like the restrictive art style, it gets very imaginative, especially with a lot of the language that they use. So it's very, very tongue-in-cheek, but it's still a lot of fun to play. And one of the cute things is, like, obviously you have like various things like hats and weapons and accessories and stuff like that you would have for any role-playing character. But then you have like shoes. All the shoes that you find in the game, all they do is make you walk differently.
Yeah,
they have no effect on your combat, but they just make you walk funny, and that's funny. So
the Western game had a similar mechanic with the boots.
Exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of little Easter eggs, a lot of little things you can try out that you can discover on your own, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's easy on especially if your system is old like mine. It's a lot easier on your system than a lot of other things out there.
So what is it, Steam? Because I don't think it's made the consoles yet.
Oh, it's Steam. I got mine off of Steam.
Okay.
So yeah. So, and it's not that expensive. So
yeah.
It's a fun game to play, and also has a lot of replay value because you have various quests and achievements you can get, and you can play the various classes and do different things. So it's a lot of fun and it's great value. So get that. Also, third, this is something I got for myself.
Oh.
Yeah, the re-release.
Oh, is it the re-release? Because I was
this
like,
is the re-release.
That okay.
Yeah, look at that.
That's Region 2 still, though, right?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What, they put it on Region 0 or Region 1?
Well, hold on.
I didn't know that was...
It won't play!
I didn't know that was known enough over here to be Region 1.
It's Region A. I don't know what that means, but I think that's...
Oh, it's Blu-ray. Oh. Okay, so yeah.
It'll
Blu-ray. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Should have specified. But for those who don't know, Ghostwatch was a TV special that the BBC ran. It was essentially a hoax that there was like this poltergeist that was haunting this family, this middle class family, and they were going to have like a big TV special with like special, like experts on it and stuff. And it was basically a big send up to scare people. The problem is,
go ahead.
But the problem is, people obviously weren't paying enough attention because they didn't realize that they had said in various places that it was a hoax.
But they were using real newscasters.
Yeah.
And
they were
so,
using real on-air personalities to talk.
Because I was like, wasn't the thing that they only put the warning on at the very beginning of it?
Probably, but
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they only put the warning because I remember Charlie Brooker talking about when he was doing Dead Set that they based a lot of Dead Set off Ghostwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Dead Set, for those of you who don't know, is Ghostwatch at the Big Brother house
with zombies.
Using the actual hosts and the actual Big Brother house at that time, Big Brother house to stage a zombie invasion.
But this is, and the thing is like it runs just like an old-fashioned, well, not old-fashioned like in the 90s, but still like, a TV special, like almost like a God, my brain's
it's like an old
Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah.
Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah.
Sorry. One of those live specials that,
right.
But in this case, they actually find a ghost that like takes over the studio and tries to kill people.
Yeah.
But
it scared the shit out of a lot of people when it aired.
And for a while, BBC was like, buried it because it caused a lot of problems. Then we're like, okay, no, we're not going to talk about this, but people still remembered it, thought it was great. And eventually they released it as like, oh, okay, here. And people like, yes, give us more. It's like, oh, okay. But it comes with, besides the DVD, it comes with a script. It comes with the sequel story.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
The sequel story and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it comes with like a ton of extras.
Nice. Who put that out?
Let me see.
Is it Acorn?
Was it Arrow?
Hold on.
It might be Acorn.
Was it Alba Tuna?
101?
Okay.
Huh.
I have never heard of them, so I don't know.
That's a first level class,
Yeah.
No, that's 1001.
Yeah, this is 301, so we're ahead of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I said, it's got a ton of shit, and it is like a milestone in like especially British horror. But like
British television fuckery.
Exactly. And I don't know if I can't remember if the people who did like Blair Witch saw it or not, but you could definitely see the influence of some of that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, creating this whole mythology in the real world and then having like it all go to hell. So, but no, like I said, it's out on Amazon.
Lovely.
So that's it for me. Ding.
Cool.
Dong.
Oh. Yeah. Scott's.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Woo. There you go.
All right, Rob, I guess you're up.
The ones who weren't here.
I'm going to jump in. Well, first of all, it's interesting how many of the same gifts Tuffley and I got for Christmas. It was
really?
Eerily frightening, and somebody was saying, "Oh, look, Tuffley got this, and you got this." I'm like, "Shut up, honey." So yes, it's actually pretty funny. So dancing around that, I will start with "Life Moves Pretty Fast." It's the John Hughes mixtapes. Somehow I got a promo, and they sent me the vinyl and the CD sets,
nice,
which are different, but it's basically a collection of songs from John Hughes movies, and a lot of his films didn't have soundtracks. Like Ferris Bueller didn't have an official soundtrack for it, and there's a lot of different chaos around his soundtracks and stuff. But literally, And there's stuff that's interesting too, is he put stuff in that doesn't fall within what you would normally think of a John Hughes soundtrack, like the Otis Redding song from Pretty in Pink, or Ray Charles with the Runaround. So there's a lot of other stuff on there beside, like Boston More Than a Feeling is on it, right? So there's lots of stuff that's used. If it's used in the movie, it's in there, right? It's a little sparse on She's Having a Baby stuff, but we're not going to complain. So that is actually, pretty freaking great. I want to recommend that. And then also I want to recommend, because we lost Terry Hall recently, the very first record by the Specials, or any record by the Specials. The Specials though has Message to You, Rudy on it, and just a bunch of other great stuff. It's got Gangsters on it, which was John Peel's favorite record, I think, of 1979. And
is Ghost Town on that one or the second album?
Gangsters is on the first one.
No, Ghost Town.
Ghost Town, I think, is on the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's got Nightclub on it. It's got Concrete Jungle. It's got a bunch of stuff on it. So that's pretty cool. And it's weird because before he passed, we went and saw Empire of Light, which is fantastic, right? Which has got Olivia Colman and a couple other folks in it. And it's set in 1979 or 1980, 1981 Britain. And a lot of the two-tone music is sort of the background for it.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a lot of it anyway, and then we lost Terry Hall, which is just like a gut punch. So I do recommend anything by the Specials, or particularly the first album, which is from '79. There's a nifty reissue too that's got live tracks on it if you want to pick that up. So I recommend that. Also, Novelist as a Vocation, the brand new book from Haruki Murakami. This is an interesting book because it talks about his writing process, where he gets his ideas from. But he's a huge fan of pop music and jazz, and he talks a lot about how music influences him as a writer and how he uses music as a tool for writing and how they're related. So it's really kind of interesting. So that is also pretty cool. And then also Doing Nothing by Tom Lutz, which is a history of loafers, loungers, slackers, and bums in America. I highly recommend it.
I think I have that book.
Oh, have you read it?
Yeah, it talks.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it talks about a lot how doing nothing has been demonized over the years.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, I do. It's pretty fantastic. And then the absolute last thing I will recommend is the Doctor Who season 17 on Blu-ray. It's awesome just to have City of Death on Blu-ray.
Yes.
With all the commentaries, and you got a cool new featurette on Douglas Adams. So lots of people now know who Douglas Adams is.
Yeah.
Which is important. And
I like the behind the sofa thing they've been doing on these collection ones.
Yeah, they're pretty great. And it's not, season 17 is not the best season in the world, but it's worth it just for Destiny of the Daleks and and City of Death. But then you also get Shada and the documentary about like how Shada got made and then sort of stopped halfway through it.
You get two versions of Shada, don't you?
Yeah, you get two versions of it, which is great.
Yeah.
We get the one with Paul McGann?
No.
No.
But that is on the Blu-ray of Shada that was previously released.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can keep that if you want. And it's fantastic. All the extras are on it are great. Their extras for these Blu-rays are pretty amazing. And I mean, you're kidding yourself if you think putting Doctor Who on Blu-ray is going to make it magically look better. I mean, people get them for the extras, and they get it because if you get this, then that's seven less things on your shelf, right?
Yeah. So I love the behind the sofa thing because it's basically them riffing whatever episode's on. It's great,
and they make fun of it. And the Sylvester ones are great.
Yeah, the Sylvester ones are great, where they have Sylvester and Sophie in particular. They will watch stuff together. Yeah,
and Sylvester does not hold back. He will be blue, and it's pretty funny. You can tell that he perhaps had been to the pub before he did some of these.
Yeah.
So
I have a bunch of them.
Yeah. Janet Fielding is usually fun when she's doing commentary on somebody else's episode. So
yeah, they're pretty fantastic, and this one's great.
Yeah.
And I was excited about having that too. So you got that one too. That's also on your list, right?
Yeah, I didn't have it on. I didn't have it on recommends list, but I've got it.
I mean, it was in your Christmas.
Yeah, it was in the
right?
Christmas haul. Yeah. It was in the Christmas haul.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, I got a couple of. I got the for Christmas this year. I got the John Pertwee latest one, season 9, and then the season 26 of Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Nice.
He's a close personal friend of mine.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
But I've definitely got at least all the ones they've released. Not all the seasons, but the ones at least released for Tom Baker. I know there are a couple that I haven't yet, but
I think they're getting close on his. I think they're getting close on getting all of his out.
For whose?
For Baker's.
Colin Baker's done. They just have to do Twin Dilemma, which will probably be on season 20, which is coming out. And then they're almost done with Sylvester. And because his running joke is, well, there's always the Lords of the Ring reissues. They'll just keep reissuing those, and I'll keep making money off of that, which is, kind of funny. But
and he's not wrong.
No, but these are, normally I don't like buying crap twice, but these are actually pretty great. And I was excited about this one just because it's the season where Douglas Adams was the script editor of Doctor Who. And so it's really much more interesting storytelling and ideas and just sort of out of left field things. And, by season 17, it's the very beginning of Tom Baker doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So when he does City of Death, he's really funny in it, right?
Yeah.
It really works, right? It's almost like a slapstick comedy at times. And Julian Glover is perfect as the bad guy in it. But then there's other stuff later where he's just like, phoning it in and hamming it up. Yeah, Nightmare of Eden and Horns of Nimon, which is just, oh my god.
Okay, no, he wasn't hamming it up. It was the other guy.
Well, they both were, right? They had a drinking bet going to see which one could ham it up more as they were filming. So,
there was another one where they had like the planet. What was
there's
it?
Creature from the Pit, which is on that one.
That one is ooh.
That one's also really good, So you got some interesting storytelling in there and some really ambitious attempts to like move outside the traditional world of Doctor Who and do some actual like cool sci-fi stuff, right?
But I thought that was more the next season where they did like Leisure Hive and
it kind of continued that a little bit. You have your Dalek story, which is pretty much the only traditional sort of Doctor Who in there, and the rest of it's just kind of out there. It's like Creature from the Pit is sort of like there's a creature, it's in a pit, but we have 4 episodes of it. Shada's got was also a Douglas Adams story that didn't get finished because of a strike, but it's like the guy who's the villain in it is wearing this like white leisure suit that is just absolutely like offensive.
It looks like something Bowie would wear back in the.
No, it doesn't even look that. It looks like something the Bay City Rollers would wear, right? I would never wear it because it's all white. But
it's the standard issue outfit for Top of the Pops presenters.
Yeah. So
hey, they had to save money somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's it for me. Oh, and Widge, am I allowed to pimp crap?
Of course.
Okay. So if you have a chance, I'm doing a music podcast with Alan Seiler and Anthony Williams called Modern Musicology, and we also have my friend Stephanie Seymour, who used to be the drummer of the Aquanettas, and we have a podcast called Modern Musicology, where basically we talk about music for an hour, and sometimes we have people on. And so far, the biggest show we had is the one where we had Gina Shock on from the Go-Go's, who's insane and bonkers, and a couple other interesting folks as well. So check that out. It's on Spotify and Podbean and other places, but it's called Modern Musicology.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Rob. All right, John, what have you got?
I don't have anything you can buy at the store that's also the Forest. I don't know what that is, but I'd like to recommend 2 shows. First of all, I'd like to recommend that as soon as we're done with this, would you go watch Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
I need to see that too.
Okay, right after this, you as well go watch Weird.
It's on my list, man.
And that's still just Roku TV, right?
It's still Roku TV or other ways. There's but still Roku TV's free. Doesn't matter.
If there were another way, yeah.
But also, speaking of streaming services that are possibly going to be sold at some point, Hulu has, I don't know what they're doing with Hulu. Hulu has a series called Fleischman is in Trouble. It's a miniseries.
Oh yeah,
it's super good. It has Jesse Eisenberg, Lizzie Kaplan, and Claire Danes.
Yes,
are the top 3 in the cast. Lizzie Kaplan is awesome, as she always is, and everything pretty much. Yeah, it's a story of people going through stuff. It's really a character story. There's no one particular. I think at the end of the was it this one? Yeah, I think at the end of the first or second episode, I said to my wife, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to be rooting for here. Who is the problem? But it's a.
It doesn't go the place you think it's going to go.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. So we'll just leave it at that. We'll stop there with that. But that's over on Hulu, where it's technically FX. Apparently, FX on Hulu is what the actual network is supposed to be called. But right.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Also, the same place where you can see Welcome to Wrexham. If you haven't watched that, watch that as well.
And What We Do in the Shadows.
And yes, exactly. And then I'm vamping because I'm slipping on the other recommendation I had. Oh, Apple TV. We were talking about it earlier. Yeah. Slow Horses. Slow Horses is fantastic, old school sort of spy procedural, not procedural, but spy story. Fantastic cast. And why is it the lead guy? His name's
Gary Oldman.
Thank you, Gary Oldman. It's fantastic as he is in most everything he does, but particularly here, he's just plays someone who's just seen some shit and gone through a lot of shit and just stopped caring eons ago.
Yeah.
Like nobody else can. It's fantastic. So Slow Horses over on Apple TV. I don't know. Maybe Amazon Channels has something like that. You could check out. I'm sure you can buy a streaming device to play these things on over at needcoffee.com/Amazon/ some sort of streaming thing. I think that's right, Wood?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. John is correct as always. If you go to needcoffee.com/Amazon, you wind up on the front page of Amazon, just like you've gone to the front page of Amazon because you have. And anything you buy during that session helps us with keeping the lights on, as Rob always says. So we appreciate everyone who does that, and especially during the holidays, because, we were all buying stuff from Amazon. My recommendation, definitely said it, I've been sucked into the world of Marvel Snap. I now have 2 games that I play. That's terrifying. Especially because, as I said in my write-up, there's absolutely no limit on the amount that you can play Marvel Snap. In fact, a game lasts just a few minutes.
Just while someone's doing their recommendation.
What's that?
While someone's doing a recommendation, you can knock out a game.
Yeah, absolutely. When if I could play a game instead of listening to myself talk, I absolutely would. But yes, it's basically just you get cards, you build yourself a deck, you go into battle, and then you try to take down your live human opponent. And crazy shit happens. I
choose you, Wolverine.
What's that?
Oh, I was making a joke.
It's a Pokemon joke.
Oh, okay. But no, like if Agatha Harkness is in your deck, she shows up in your hand and plays your cards for you. All you get to do is hit end turn. If Ego the Living Planet shows up as a location, same thing happens.
I was watching somebody was saying something about Carnage. Carnage destroys your cards.
Oh yeah, Carnage will destroy cards, and he gets bonuses on how many cards. Venom does the same thing, but just absorbs the card's power. So it's just crazy shit. Galactus, if you play Galactus the card right, it blows up 2 of the 3 locations, and you're only left with 1 location to play on. The world ship is a location. If it pops up, same thing happens. So they play around with the idea of it quite a lot, and there's insane combinations that you can do, and it is very, very easy to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Do they have it where if you have the cards for Colossus and Wolverine, you can do the...
You can't fastball special per se, but Colossus can't be destroyed, and if you do destroy Wolverine, he just regenerates at a random location. So all the cards have their own particular thing that you can figure out. Even if you're going, what the hell is that for? You can generally find somebody who's gone, oh, I know what we can use that for, and made it part of a deck.
Apparently, I've heard some people say they like playing Jubilee.
Jubilee is fun because Jubilee will pull a random card from your deck.
Yes.
And add it to her location, assuming there's room for them to show up.
So it could be the thing that wins the game, or it could completely fuck you over.
Absolutely. Like Scarlet Witch. If you don't like a location, Scarlet Witch will change it to another location, which again could completely fuck you over.
The genius of Snap in my mind is the locations, because how they're revealed and how they're random and everything else, that it completely puts a dynamic that's unlike Hearthstone, which Bren Brode basically developed first. Where once you've sort of got a deck, it just plays the same every single time.
Yeah.
But in Snap, because of the locations, it completely blows that whole paradigm out of the water.
And they are constantly coming up with new locations, and new cards. And I have been lobbying Marvel Strike Force to add Hellcow basically since day one, whereas Marvel Snap has Hellcow right now. They launched with Hellcow.
Okay, I'm going to ask, what does Hellcow do?
Hellcow basically, well, of course, it's Bessie, a vampire cow.
He moves people.
Yes, I've in the subcock region of my heart. No, when you play Hellcow, she takes 2 cards from your hand, discards 2 cards from your hand, which can be good or bad. Again, it all depends. Who knows? So, but yes, it's early days. It won like best mobile game of the year at the whatever Game Awards.
Game Awards, yeah.
Yep. And it is slightly addictive, and there are numerous ways that you can create a deck and annoy other people by thwarting what they want to do. So it's a lot like life in that way. So yeah, I recommend it. It's free to play, but I do get the season pass because at $10, it's a lot more reasonable than the Marvel Strike Force season pass. And I think gives you a lot more. So
and you get a full body review for it on the site.
Yeah, I have not reviewed my full body on the site because that
of the game. If anybody's going to review Widge's body, full body, it's going to be me.
How can I say this? No. Talking about getting demonetized. Me doing a full body review on the site. That's nobody wants that.
But
there's unfortunately a little bit of Scott in all of us.
Again, 4% and climbing. So yeah, Marvel Snap. You should check it out. You have no way of seeking me out to fight me on there yet, but I promise when you do get that ability, you will probably kick my ass resoundingly. But anyway, so that's my recommendation. And,
woohoo!
Hey! And that brings us to the end of another episode of Weekend Justice, the first Weekend Justice of 2023. And after we've gone through all of this and shredded this time that we will never get back, and shredded your time that you will never get back, and realized that we can't recycle that time because the recycling place is not taking time that's been crosscut shredded, there's only one thing left to do, and that is to look at each other in a mix of horror and amazement and simply say, Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie.
Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
Reminds me of the Oscar bit from Art Bell, which takes me back to a simpler time.
Oh, yeah. What? The good old days for me are just probably pre-internet at this point. If we could just get rid of the internet at this point, of course we wouldn't be here right now. But
yeah.
Good old days.
All right. Well, I will see you guys later then.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, Scott.
Bye.
Good to see you again. We're glad you're alive.
Yeah, so am I, pretty much, kind of.
Well, that was optimistic.
Hey.
Hey.
We've been here for 5 hours. You want to do introductions now?
No, it's too late.
We didn't even do introductions. You know who we are.
They can read the names on this.
That's what the name things were, weren't they?
Yeah. Kinda.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There we go.
There we go.
Dear audio listener, who's the majority of the people listening, the majority of people hearing this, please read your screen down.
Oh God. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I'm glad we're back, and now I need to not be back because I need to pee.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, I guess I should end it, huh? Okay, hold on. There we go.
Yeah, probably. Bye, folks.